And we're live.
Welcome back. This is the Off-Duty Sports Podcast with Danny and Upham.
All
How you doing,
right.
Danny?
I'm doing great. How was your week, man?
Busy. As always, busy between sports, the chaos of the playoffs and the NHL and NBA, MLB, and just daily life stuff. How about you?
Uh Work, and that's about it for me. And then my son is going to be in a music video. So him and Kirsten are in Austin right now, filming for that right now. So I got him a hotel and all that. I got us a rental because we only have one car, because we drive around together most of the time. I only work 3 days a week normally. So there's never really been a need for a car except like when something like this happens, and then all the points I have collected with my travels, I just use my free points. I just got us a free stay at a hotel and then her a free car basically. So yeah,
It's exciting, though.
yeah, it's gonna be good. I forget the artist name. I'll try to get the artist name when we come back to our next episode, so I let you know. But yeah, it's pretty gonna be pretty cool. He's doing 2 days of recording, so it's like a 2 day thing. So yeah, so it's pretty
Nice.
cool. So far, this is episode 2. So we are on episode 2 of our podcast, and I'm gonna ask, what do you think so far? Now that we've started doing this, what are you thinking so far? What are your thoughts on like doing this whole thing? Is this something that like I don't know? Just give me your thoughts.
I enjoy this type of stuff, honestly, just going back and forth in sports talk in general and life talk in general. Like, this is fun for me. So, and the feedback that I've gotten from people that have listened and tuned in to listen to these podcasts has been fantastic. The
Yeah.
outreach has been fantastic so far. We'll make adjustments as we're, developing this, the further we go into it, but it's been fantastic so far. How about your side? Did you get any feedback on it?
Yeah. To stop. To write down the things I watched because I did I watched that documentary from ESPN about the Wizards, you know what I mean, and or the not the Wizards, the Magic, Orlando Magic, and I couldn't remember Horace Grant's name for the life of me, and like my mom was like saying, you need to make sure you write that stuff down, like I'm like, all right, well,
My
I,
brother said the same thing. He's like, what he's talking about when he's listening to it, he's like,
yeah.
hey, just so you know, Denny was thinking about Horace Grant. I was like, well, we got it at the end of the
Yeah.
last podcast, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to I'm so bad with but even like even when I was like at the end of it, like I forgot it again as I was talking about it because I went over the whole podcast. I forgot his name again. It escaped me for like again, just I don't know if it's just old age or what, but but I'm just so
I,
bad with names. I'll you'll tell me something and we'll go over a name and then I'll probably forget it within like 10 minutes and I'm like I don't remember what
it's
that
an
guy's name
older
was.
player. It's an older player, so you're probably just replacing. We're limited in terms of capacity. There's
Yeah,
so many names
yeah.
out there. You're just replacing it with the new names coming through.
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly what's happening. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, I had a few people that I didn't even expect. People from the military that hit me up that were like, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Like, just I was really shocked that some people were like reached out that I wasn't even expecting. One of my buddies that follows me on Twitch, he was like, oh, like he's like, hey, I'm bored right now, so I'm watching your podcast right now. He's like, good job though. It looks good, and he was like, he liked what we were. He's also a Cowboys fan, so he knows that I'll represent it. I'll represent it well.
Oh, he knows what pain feels like.
Yeah, he does. Actually, that is true. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say something, but we'll get to that in a bit because we have a lot that we're gonna go over. I was gonna say, speaking of pain, but I don't want to talk about anything. We're gonna go through and we're gonna go through everything right now. Actually, we can talk about it right now because we're on the second part of this. I'm gonna a major story. I guess we'll talk about this major story. Um, your guys' assistant coach, got into some controversy this last week. Do you want any you want to talk about that a little bit? Is
Which
that is the biggest story right now that I've been seeing. It came up on my feed, what is it, a day or two ago or something like that, and that's all I've been seeing now is Vrabel and Rossini. Is it Vrabel, Coach Vrabel and
Vrabel's the head coach, yeah.
yeah, and oh, he's the head coach now. Wasn't he the assistant coach?
Well, so he was a player for the Patriots, and then he went over and he ended
Okay,
up being head coach for the
Mike
Titans, and
Vrabel.
now
That's right.
so now he's the head coach for the Patriots. And I'll be honest with you, I support Vrabel in his all of his endeavors. I love that guy. He is a beast. His style of coaching is fantastic. So I don't know what he did. I don't know what's
So
true, but we've seen
just so we heard it, you support him cheating on his wife with
allegedly. We don't know.
Rossini.
Allegedly.
I'm messing around. I'm messing around.
No, honestly, we've seen it with the Trevor Bauer scenario where people can say whatever they want, and public has the right to decide. Do they want to believe that person or somebody else?
Well, I
So,
mean, there's pictures to
I believe
prove. I mean, there's holding hands, embracing, kissing each other at the bar from over 6 years ago.
that could be AI. We don't know.
Like us talking right now is AI, right? Like we don't even know
This
we're
is all
here.
AI. Yeah.
Oh man.
No,
Well, I mean, she
it's
also
just
resigned from her job, which kind of is a little telling that of like, hey, there's some stuff that's about to come out. I'm gonna go ahead and control the narrative a bit and just go ahead and like stop all that from coming down. And yeah, I would say this is one of the biggest things that like I've been seeing all over my feed. That's constant. I'm like, oh man, I'm sure Upham's loving this.
well, the Patriots are always in the spotlight, usually for the positive things. So it's, to be honest with you, so once in a while you get these scandals that come out. Belichick was no stranger to it himself, with the cheating scandals. That never happened. Those were alleged.
Of course,
Deflategate,
alleged,
alleged.
of course.
No, but no, at the end of the day, I trust in, Vrabel and what he's doing on the NFL side, what he chooses to do on the personal side.
It doesn't
I,
really
I'm,
matter because it has nothing to do with sports. But it is being talked
yes,
about like crazy right now, and that's like one of
it
the that's
is.
probably like the top like the biggest topic right now. In just in sports right now. Just that's all anybody cares about right now. Of course, everybody loves a good scandal.
And it's surprising because NFL offseason draft just happened. There's not a whole lot, so they're kind of grasping at straws. And you got so much to kind of publicize. You got the playoffs in the NHL, the playoffs in the NBA, and yet we're talking about Vrabel and
I mean,
his personal.
we can talk about that too. I mean, Bruins are out.
Let's talk about it. I am now supporting the
Oh my
Avalanche here.
gosh. You just switched jerseys that fast. Oh my
I
god.
well,
I just
I
noticed
need to
that.
be
I
invested.
actually just noticed that. That is so funny. Oh
I'm
my
still
god.
invested in the playoffs. I'm an avid Avalanche. I like the Bruins and all that, but I grew up watching Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg, and I love that team. And I don't know. I had to transition once the Bruins got knocked out, which I did say that the Buffalo
Yeah,
Sabres would knock
you
them
did say
out.
that. You did say that. But
But after they got knocked
you
out,
switched jerseys so fast. That is the craziest switch up I've ever seen in my life. That is so
yeah,
funny, dude.
I can't support a team that's no longer in the playoffs. They're on an island enjoying their vacation right now.
Ugh, that would annoy me actually a little bit. But yeah, I mean that was probably the other big thing though. I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit more about hockey in a bit. I'm just going over the stuff that I went over because I like to do my due diligence first because you already have a plethora of knowledge in terms of sports. I like to kind of get my at least because if you say anything that I already have down, then I'm like, oh crap, like I'm screwed. So like for the rest of the podcast, I have to like comment on what I've already have in my notes already. So I'm like, so that's why I am going through this first, just so I like at least I'm trying to do my best. However, I did want to talk about one thing that we talked about a little bit last week, and it's about Andy Fletcher, the umpire for MLB. So 28 times he was challenged so far, and 24 calls have been flipped. He has an 85% overturn rate right now in terms with this new system, which is actually insane in terms of like how long has this been going on? If there's a way to implement the system for previous games somehow, or if we could figure out a way to do it, it is going to be crazy to see how many teams. And this is where it's like one of those situations too now where we're on that fine line of like, are the refs cheating? Are the refs intentionally doing something? Or is he just really that bad at making calls? That to me, like for me, I see cheating. That's the first thing I see because I mean, right now basketball is over a lot. Like that one dude just admitted oh my gosh, see, here we go with names again. I had it in my head and I didn't write it oh wait, I might have written it down, but I don't want to scroll up from this because I want to actually talk about what I have right now. But yeah, we just had somebody from the NBA just admit to cheating. I think it was just admit to, and because they're doing that FBI I think they're doing an FBI investigation on that. I think there was they found some stuff too as well. But for me, this is like one of those things that I think are 28 times and out of 24 calls on him. And I think that's crazy, man. That is I don't know, man. There should be a penalty to this or they need to fire him because that's way too high for the start of the season. You know what I mean? To be getting that many calls wrong. Like, and he's not the only one. He just was the number one on the list. I did have some other ones, but I'm just like, I want to talk about number one because that's all that matters at this point. Because there's one guy that was at 75%, I think, or 77% or 76% on the overturn rate too, as well, which is still way too high. It's not even close calls. There's some that are just blatantly just miss. Your comment.
Yeah, so with baseball, it's tough. I'm in a tough situation because I see both sides of it. When it comes to umpires, you like the human factor in it. You like knowing that there is a call that could go for a batter one time, for a pitcher another. That unknown kind of factors into the intrigue of the game of baseball
Yeah.
for me. But at the same time, when you're missing so many calls, it becomes the question of how long has this been going on? Has it always been this bad? And the percentages that you're pulling up, that's off of the calls that they have actually gone and done a
Yeah.
replay for. They could have run out of replay options for that game, or there could have been a lot more calls that are questionable. But at the same time, some of these calls you're talking about millimeters off of the actual strike zone, and that is incredibly difficult. So I do enjoy the human factor that the umpires bring, but when you miss that many calls, I don't enjoy that piece of it.
I would say I'd be happier with like 60% maybe because that means that like, okay, you're missing a few that are like, I don't know. I feel like the human fact, like I'll give you 20%. So that means 20%, I already know that you're probably going to get like on those millimeters that you're talking about. I think that 20%, and then you got human error, which I'd say is about 40% because that's kind of where I see that being. But 80, almost 90%, that's majority of your calls. That's majority of the calls. And that's not okay. I don't think he needs to like I'm not saying he needs to be fired, but he needs to like, I don't know, reassess what he's gonna need to be doing because you know, I don't know, man. I think that's nuts, man. I don't that's crazy.
I
I don't
think it needs to be. I mentioned it last time. I think it needs to be incentivized. The bonuses need to be, put into the structure of their contracts. Where, hey, if you're above this percentage of correct calls, you'll get this type of bonus, or whatever it looks like. But it needs to be incentivized. These salaries, they're getting paid a lot of money to make correct calls, and they're not doing it right now.
But here's the problem I have with that too, because I thought about this a lot because I'm like, and I'm wondering if we incentivize it, is that going to really matter? Because if you're cheating, who cares? Like if I'm incentivizing it, and I'm like, yeah, I get. Let's just say at the end of the season, I have like let's just say they want you to be under 60%. Let's just say something crazy like that. They want you to be under 60%, and let's just say I'm able to maintain that. Um, would it really matter all that much, even if I wasn't maintaining that? The payout would probably be so much higher because all I have to do is just make enough calls to where they get it wrong twice, and then I could just sit there and screw them over the entire time. Like if they're wrong twice, I can just keep on screwing them over and over and over again. To me, and then I'm like, if I'm betting, then yeah, I could probably sit there and like change how the whole entire thing is getting done. You know what I mean? I don't know. That
Well, the thing with it is, if you've identified yourself as being like, you'll make 80% correct calls every single over the course of a season or many seasons, and then you go into a single series or a playoff series in which that drops significantly, you can pretty quickly identify that there might be something weird going on gambling. If you drop to a 60% and you're normally at an 80% call rate, whatever it is, the percentage wise, I'd call that out and be like, "Hey, this is interesting. We maybe need to move you off the series because you might have something a little too invested into gambling with this side of things."
But see, to me, the more obvious thing to do, if I was a cheater, and let's just say like if like I'm trying to think of it like on both sides of the spectrum. If I'm actually cheating, I wouldn't risk doing it during playoff season. I would risk doing it preseason. That way I can sit there and do like because nobody cares. Like, not saying that nobody cares, but less people care because there's so many games in 1 week. You know what is it? Six games
Yeah,
in 1 week. You know,
it
like
varies.
depending on if how many wins and losses there are, it'll vary. But like I would do it during that time because if I could sit there and control three of the five games that are there, then yeah, you know what? Like, who cares? Who cares if all of us like? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be patterns, and I'm thinking that this might be starting to weed out like maybe some patterns that we might be able to see and kind of see who's actually like making correct calls. Like maybe for 3 games he's at 80%, but then he drops down to like 40%, just messing his numbers up down, and then he like evens out to 60. You know, he could kind of change his numbers up a little bit, like with that percentage rate, which I think that there's something to be looked into because now that we have something babysitting them, it's going to be a huge issue. And so,
Yeah, I think the accountability piece is fantastic, and people will develop, this persona about them. Hey, he's known for making great calls, and many years of using the replay is going to identify deficiencies within the current program that's available to them. So if they become unreliable as they are currently showing that they could be, ditch them. Find somebody else who's better at the job at making calls.
maybe
So
AI.
bring those people.
Maybe we just get rid of the umps altogether and just have AI run it.
But but again, I like the human factor. I like if you're gonna miss a call and you're missing it by millimeters. I think that's fine, and I like that unknown about it.
Yeah,
I just don't like so much of it. You know.
I agree. And the 85% is a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
No. 100%.
Let me see. And the last one, I was kind of trying to get like a little bit of everything. But I kind of did touch on baseball a lot as well. Uh, what do you call it? So Atlanta Braves outfielder, Jerkson Profar
Profile.
is
Yep.
yep, and he got tested for testosterone, which I don't. I've heard he was doing. See, I'm hearing a bunch of different things on this. So I was like, so my thing is, if you're already at a certain age, and I'm not sure how old this guy is, but I mean, testosterone's kind of normal to sit there and take. Like medically, you could do that, but I've heard it was Peps. So it's like I'm not, I, peptides are, I hear that's the more natural way of doing things as opposed to like straight up doing steroids. But at the same time, it's still performance enhancing. Obviously performance enhancing. Um, uh, I'm assuming he's doing a form of testosterone, but I don't. I'm guessing it's steroids. So I mean, that's what I'm kind of getting the idea from, and I'm kind of wondering, do you think if people are taking testosterone that shouldn't be allowed either?
No, so I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it's standardized across the board, I want people being athletic, being human out there. If you're juicing up, but only 50% of the people are juicing up, it's an unfair advantage
Yeah,
across the board. So standardizing it, whatever that is, not steroids, using steroids, as long as it's standardized. I don't want a Jackson Profar who's an average player taking steroids and he becomes the next Barry Bonds out
yeah,
there. I don't want that because it's not fair at the end of the day. You want the guys who are naturally gifted to showcase their skills and athleticism, and they shouldn't have to try to overcome somebody who's juicing.
I
To be,
agree.
to be honest.
I
Yeah.
agree with
So,
that.
but I know a lot of people take that type of stuff for injuries and rehabbing a lot quicker, and I get that piece of it. There's better ways of doing it, and everyone knows. Before they take it, a lot of times they know what's in there, and they're just taking the gamble. And so, yeah, I don't fault them for suspending him, but I don't agree with people juicing up in any sport.
Okay. Well, that's all for me on my end. Why don't we go over the stuff that you wanted to talk about? Because I know you probably have some topics that maybe you might want to talk about. And then Bruins losing.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about the Bruins losing. It's still so raw. Now, it's kind of staying on the baseball thing. So there's a player right now. He was drafted this year. He's not an older, mid-age, mid-20s. Murakami for the Chicago White Sox. Have you heard
Okay.
about him?
No. No, not yet.
Big home run hitter guy. Big concerns coming in was he can swing and he can crush balls, but he can strike out a lot as well. So this guy on the season, where is it? 27 hits, 13 of those hits are home runs. 50% of his hits are for a home run.
Okay.
And that is just amazing
That's really
to
cool.
me.
That's crazy.
Half of his hits are
Wait,
home
didn't you
runs. So he's
didn't you make the prediction that he was going to be hitting 50 home runs? Oh, okay, that's a good prediction. Okay, so now I'm understand. Okay, that's why you made that prediction last week. Okay, that makes a lot more
this
sense now.
this dude is out there swinging for the fence every single at bat. And I mean, he's batting 286, which is average. It's
Yeah,
not bad, but I mean, he's sitting there at 13 home runs on the season. And I look at that and I'm like, oh, how many hits does he have? Oh, 27 hits. I'm like, geez, so every other hit is a home run. That's amazing to
that's
me.
actually crazy. He's probably on Peps too. Peptides
Yeah,
too.
no, you never know.
No.
He's, No, but so I thought that was a pretty interesting stat. Shout out to my brother for bringing it up. He actually mentioned it to me this morning, saying, "Hey, did you know that 50% of the hits?" I was like, "That's amazing." I
That's
knew he was
really
a home run
crazy.
hitter, but I didn't think 50% of his hits would be home runs.
That is actually insane. That's pretty crazy.
Now, the other kind of thing that I wanted to bring up was, this one comes, it's closer to home. The Red Sox cleaning house. You know, Alex Cora, who I would consider to be one of the best managers in the major leagues. He's going to take the rest of the years off. Dave Dombrowski from the Philadelphia Phillies tried to come out, pick him up to go manage their team. He said no. He's going to sit out the rest of the season, spend time with family. But to see how dysfunctional this Red Sox organization is, John Henry, the friggin' the whole ownership group just needs to sell this friggin' team and move on. They're so invested in the Pittsburgh Penguins, in the soccer teams, the race teams, that they stopped caring about the Red
Well,
Sox.
they
And the Red Sox
won.
have
They
some of
won.
the
They
best.
won one. So it's like, they won. So now, like,
They
why?
moved on.
Yeah, as you say, why care anymore after that? I mean, like, you got the win. You need, they've been holding on to that Babe Ruth, win for decades now. So I mean, like, and that's why they've been a more popular team. But now it's like now that they won again, they proved their point. I mean, in reality, I mean, it's just like a Cowboys franchise in a way. Like, you make enough money, you're still like, it doesn't matter how often the Cowboys lose. What matters is how much merchandise they sell and how much money they make. You know what I mean? And that's really all. I mean, if you're making enough money to sit there, I mean, every once in a while, I'll even in Texas, I'll see somebody with the either New York Yankees or Boston Red Sox hat. Yeah, you'll get that. I mean, obviously, and I see more of those sometimes that are Dodgers. I see a lot of Dodgers too. I'll see that more
Yeah.
than the Texans. You know what I mean? Or Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. I think that
It's
they've won, and who cares?
it's but it's not about the it's about the next one. It's not about the last championship. We want the next one. New England is a location where we have become accustomed to winning. And when you're a big city like Boston, you've got the fan base, super loyal. The way it used to be was Yankees are going to spend a ton of money,
Yeah.
build their roster to be all-star roster. Red Sox would be right there next to them, and it would be these two. Now the Red Sox aren't spending; they're acting like this low market team, like the Tampa Bay Rays. You got Baltimore out there who shouldn't be sniffing the jockstrap of the Red Sox, and you got Toronto who's up and coming. They're better, but the Red Sox need to start acting like a big market team and spending money, because I don't care about their last championship. I want this next one. And I know the Dodgers are tough to compete against, but the Dodgers are doing it right. They're spending money and they're building their fan base, and they're going to go after championships. And the Red Sox should be doing the same thing. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers spending a ton of money?
Hey, I'm happy with it. I mean, as long as they're winning, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just like Cowboys. Like, I love when the Cowboys spend a lot of money, but then like when the second the second they start losing, it's like, man, like, it's hard, man. Like, I've been a fan of them for a long time, and I used to host things at my house. We used to watch football, and sometimes Super Bowl too as well. I've done it here at the house here as well, like Super Bowl parties and stuff. And it sucks, like, when I'm like watching my team just do, and then I don't know if you heard about how they're not going to extend. I'm at least as of now, and that's the last I found that out today, that they're not going to extend Pickens' contract today. Like, apparently they're just going to let him go. I'm just like, and this is the crap that I have a problem with, where I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're losing again this year. Like, it's already a great start to the season. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I understand that they have to like open up their cap space and all that, but it's like, for me, I'm like, dude, like we're it's hard to get good wide receivers, and Dak desperately needs it. You know what I mean? Like he needs somebody that can like that can catch. You know, like I anybody that's coming in right now, we're taking a gamble on that. You know, and not saying that it's not possible, but it's like, man, dude, I don't know, man. It's kind of annoying, man.
But but with Dallas, does it even matter? Because at the end of the day, they can do fantastic in the regular season. They're going to blow it in the first round anyways. It doesn't matter if we give you an all-star studded wide receiver cast.
That's true. That is true. That's true.
No, no. I mean, think of it this way: Dallas got so used to winning for so long, and
Yeah.
then you have this long period of time where you have a good bunch of athletes on this team. They're just not winning in the playoffs. You go with the Dodgers. They're probably going to win again this
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah.
And you start racking up these World Series victories year after year. You're going to get to the point where you're like the Patriots, where you're winning all the time. And that expectation becomes, all right, well, I loved it this year. Let's do it again next year. And when they stop spending, how would you feel if they stop spending?
I just don't see that happening, and like that's why I think you could. I think that's why But he could be like ruining chances. Maybe like just devaluing the team so someone else can pick it up. Because right now I'm sure the to spend that money on purchasing the team, I'm sure it's insane. But if they create a very bad way of doing it, it might be a little bit more affordable to get rid of it. Or maybe just kind of do like a bidding war. Maybe someone's just sabotage. They could be sabotaging on purpose. You never know. Like it's hard to say. Like it's almost like trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers. I mean, you don't know if they're trying to self sabotage or what they're doing to, what the behind the scenes is for everything. So it's like I have no faith in. I mean, I'm glad that Luka Doncic went over there. I'm not going to complain about that. But like it's still like I don't know. With your team, it's kind of funny that it's happening to your one. One of your teams is losing, so I don't care. I'm happy about that in
It's only
general.
it's only temporary until John Henry moves on and kind of takes on another. He's so widespread at this point. Everybody, there was a banner flying over Fenway the other day saying, "John Henry, sell the team. We don't want you here anymore." And I was like, that is exactly how the fans feel right now. This is a big market team acting and spending money like a small market team, and we're not used to seeing this. They're underperforming. It's just a crap product to watch. And you're right. In a sense, he's suckering the Red Sox fans because we're so loyal to the team that we're going to continue to go to the games. But I would like to just revolt completely as a fan base and stop going, because as soon as that starts happening, uh, the money isn't flowing into their pockets anymore, and they're going to move on. That's what I
See,
want to
I
happen.
just don't see that happening. It's just like the Cowboys. I mean, like I took a break from watching the Cowboys, like I want to say 2 years ago or 3 years ago, something like that. And for 2 years, like I would watch some of the games, but then like when they start doing the dumbest things, like I'm just like, bro, I cannot watch this anymore. It is so hard to watch them, like because when they lose in the worst way possible against like some of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like they'll do really well against good teams, for the most part, like but the second like they're playing a crappy team, it's like they don't put enough effort in or something like that. And then all of a sudden they lose and you're just like, dude, this is and then you're like now we're now we're in the wild card. Like we should automatically be going. We shouldn't even be in the wild card. There's not even that shouldn't even be happening. We like Cowboys always get rated really high and they always just end up dropping really low. It is so annoying. It's hard being.
Fantastic. I completely understand it. It's a fantastic regular season team, and they do very well, and they're competing against good teams. But as soon as you go against the below average teams, it's like they go there expecting to win, and it would be handed over to them, and they lose those games, and you're sitting there like, is this a good team or is this a bad team? You can
Pretty
never
much.
tell with
You
the
never
Dallas
know.
Cowboys.
So, but anyways, well, okay, now we can go to the next spot here. Unless you have another thing that you want to talk about. I don't know how many things you wanted to talk about for that spot.
No, we can cover some of the playoff stuff as we kind of get further into it. That was the only other stuff that I was gonna kind of talk about.
Yeah, I really those are some pretty good topics. Anyways, it was a pretty strong start to this whole thing actually. So, let me see. Okay, I just lost that whole thing. What's our next subject?
We can head right into the NHL playoffs and talk about, because they're about to start the second round
That's right.
today.
I think Hurricanes and the Flyers, correct, are starting today at 8 p.m.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, and then
Yeah. So that's the first. So series round one is still not completed. There's still games to be completed in round one, but that's going to be done tomorrow. So you have the Lightning and Canadians all tied up at 3-3. That should decide that final team in going into the second
And
round.
who do you think's gonna
But
win?
so I picked the Oilers originally. Of course, they're out now.
Yeah.
um, they're out now. So honestly, I like your pick of the Hurricanes.
Yep.
They have the easiest path. I mean, the
No.
Flyers did well against Pittsburgh, but the Hurricanes have got the easiest path to the Stanley Cup. I like Colorado. Obviously, I support them, but they have a tough path, a tough couple matchups in front of them.
Yeah,
You
I
still
guess
like the
we'll
Hurricanes?
yeah, I'm still going for the Hurricanes. I think that's gonna be my I think I'm gonna go with Hurricanes this year. Um, I mean, if, like I said, I mean, there's only so many teams that are gonna win it all, right? I mean, there's gonna only be one. So, but no, I think that they'll win.
You have the Avalanche versus the Wild,
Yeah, I'm looking at
and the Wild, they're a good chippy team. They did well in round one. I just think that the firepower from the Avalanche is going to be overwhelming for them. Maybe the Wild take a game, but the Avalanche, I wouldn't say they walked in round one. They swept.
I think the
But
Avalanche will beat the Minnesota Wilds or Wild.
do you think they'll sweep though?
Um, I don't know. I've known the Avalanche to be a pretty decent team in general. I
Yeah,
think it'll be a clear win. I don't think it's going to be a close win. I think it'll be a clear win. So,
yeah. I think
and
I
then
think it's like a 4-2 series.
I'm gonna have to go with Ducks against Knights. Um,
Really? Okay.
only because I got to represent California. I got to like at least pick a California team. I mean, I think the Golden Knights are a really good team anyways, but I'm gonna go with Anaheim over Knights, and I'm probably gonna be wrong on that one. That one I'm probably gonna be. I'm okay. I'm just gonna say that I would prefer the Ducks to win over the Knights. I just preference, I should say. I don't want to sit there and say that I think they're gonna win because I don't think they are, but I think that the Ducks. I'm hoping the Ducks will win.
I'm taking the Knights.
Really?
I
All
know that
right. All
they
right.
I know that they gave up a couple games to the Mammoth, but the Mammoth again are a hustling team, so they took 2 games, well deserved. But I think the Knights are just a better team overall. The Ducks, they did beat the Oilers, who I thought was one of the better teams. Which again, they beat them 4-2 in the series total, 4 victories to 2 victories. But I'm not a believer in the Ducks. I can't get on board with it just yet. Maybe a couple games in and I will, but right now I
Maybe you need
can't.
to watch the Ducks movie again and believe.
Just start believing.
Yeah, believe in
I'll
them.
start believing.
Believe in the knuckle puck.
I'll be in the
It's
basement trying
knuckle
to do a
puck time.
flying
Remember
V.
that?
Oh yeah, I'll go outside and start practicing that shot. I'll start the flying V with a couple cones behind me.
Oh man, that's actually pretty funny. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I remember the knuckle puck though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Knuckle puck
It's the
time.
goalie.
Yeah. Oh man.
But so that's exciting. So the round two starts tonight. I'm excited to see how we
I'm
progress
actually
from here, where it trends.
I'm actually gonna try to watch it. I'll try to watch it maybe towards the end of it at least. So we're gonna see if I'm right on those ones. So
At
I
least we
mean,
have opposing picks on that.
yeah, it'll be good. I mean, you're probably gonna be. I mean, like I said, you're probably gonna be right on the Knights. I'm hoping that I'm hoping it'll be a closer game than what I think people are probably thinking it's going to be. So I don't have a lot of faith in the Ducks, but I will say I prefer them to win over the Knights. So I think we're gonna go with
All
that.
right.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
all right. So
I'm
what are your thoughts on the NBA side of things?
all right. Let me look up that real quick. Go ahead and you could
Well, we
start
have
on that one. You could start on yours real quick, and I'm gonna find my notes on that. Sorry, I have my notes
so
all over the place right now.
I will say that I am nervous. So I the Celtics and 76ers have a game tonight. Whatever. So they have a game tonight. The series is tied 3-3. It should never have gotten to this point, to be honest with you. I thought maybe the 76ers take a game, and here they are in a game seven. And Tatum is out. He's been overcompensated. So just to kind of get you up to speed, Tatum was out for most of the season with an Achilles tear from previous year in
Okay.
the playoffs. So he came back towards the end of the season, got up to speed, and he's been playing in the playoffs, and he's been fantastic. But I think that he's been overcompensating with his opposite ankle to kind of give him as much oomph to, give him the speed, the quickness that he needs to kind of compete at a playoff level. So Embiid came back in the 76ers series, but I think he's been overcompensating. So now Tatum is out for tonight's game, one of our best players. So it comes back to Brown's team, and Brown's been carrying this team most of the season. So I'm kind of interested to see how this goes, but I'm not 100% confident in it. I think the Celtics are a better team, but
you don't think that's a little bit more of like, because they're your team, you kind of think they're better?
no, I think so get this. They finished number 2 in the East. Detroit finished number 1. Detroit's now out. The best team in the East is out of the playoffs. They got beaten, which was a surprise to me. The Celtics, second best team, I'm hoping. Actually, no, the Detroit is not in. They were losing heavily to the Magic last night by like 20.
Detroit Pistons and Magic game 7 right now. Okay, yeah. Okay. Continue.
So
Sorry, I'm trying to like follow what it's saying right now.
The Pistons Magic game. I looked at that game I was watching. The Magic were leading that game by 20 points. I shut it off. I was like, this game is in the bag. Detroit's out. Detroit held the Magic in quarters 3 and 4 to a total of 19 points, 11 in quarter 3 and 8 points in quarter 4. The average points scored usually is about 20, 25 points. And the shooting was terrible. I think they missed 23 shots in a row. The Magic did.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And the Pistons made this huge comeback to tie the series, and now be one of the best teams going to a game 7. So that was surprising.
So they're tied right now, 3-3 currently right now. Game 7's on Sunday. New York Knicks and Atlanta Hawks, they're 4-2 right now. So that
Knicks move on.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then we have the Boston Celtics and 76ers. So I'm trying to go over all my notes. I wrote down everything because I'm trying to like make sure they're tied right now as well. Cavaliers and Raptors are tied. All right, perfect. Okay, so now I'm pretty much caught up. Okay, that makes sense.
Another upset was the Nuggets in Timberwolves series. So the Nuggets, again, with Jokic being one of the best players out there, we would have thought that they were going to go to the
100%.
NBA Finals.
Jokic's a really good player.
Yeah, so I'm thinking fantastic team. They're going to smoke the Timberwolves. Timberwolves beat them 4-2 in the series. And that was a huge surprise right out the gate. And then seeing that Detroit was losing that series, I thought, okay, we're going to lose the Celtics, Nuggets, and the Knicks were down for a while. I thought for a second there, I thought we were going to lose Detroit, Celtics, and the Nuggets. And the Nuggets are now out, and the Celtics could be out tonight. And we'll see about Detroit tomorrow.
Well, I mean, do you still have the Celtics beating everybody?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Celtics.
Well, I think if the Lakers don't do it, I think honestly, I have said San Antonio Spurs second to take it if the Lakers can't. So I mean, I don't have the Celtics even listed on here as my top 3.
Of course you don't. You're just doing that because you hate the Celtics.
No, I just statistically speaking, I just don't think they can do it.
It's if Tatum is injured, it's tough for sure. But you're just hating on the Celtics. I know you are. Deep down inside, I think you're a Celtics fan, and you don't want to admit it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I actually think the 76ers are going to take it, man. I think they're going to win.
You think they're going to win tonight?
Yeah, I think they're going to win. I'm gonna watch it tonight too. I have a plan to like, this is like one of my days off. So I'm actually, the wife's not here, Ethan's not here, so I just have the girls today. So I mean, it's gonna be I'm gonna try to get some game time in while spending time with them. I spent time with them all evening, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get some sport time in tonight. So I plan on watching both of those games. So for hockey,
well, if you want to watch a grown man cry, it's just, if the Celtics lose, you just hit me up. And
I would love to see every Boston team that you like lose the entire year. Not even get to the finals. I would love to see that.
It's impossible.
It's already happened because Bruins are already out already. So that's already number 1 off the list already. So that's already like, we're already done with them already for the year. Now all we have to do is just, I need the Celtics to lose, and then I need the Red Sox are going to lose for sure. I'm not even worried about that. So I mean, that's already 2 teams. Like, New England's the only one that I'm like, man, you know?
Fall from glory is it's such a hard fall. It really is. You get so used to winning, and then here I am. We got the Celtics could be out tonight. The Bruins are out. The Red Sox are trash. The Patriots are still up and coming, so I still have that at least.
Well, I mean,
Until I don't have anything, I'm good.
you're like, until I don't have anything. Um, well, like I said, I mean, even if they get to the Super Bowl, if I work the Super Bowl this year, I am going to curse them again. So it'll happen again, like I did the previous time I was able to touch the. They probably won't ever let me touch the Lombardi Trophy after I pulled that stunt the first time though. So they're probably never gonna let me touch it again, just because there was like a huge like no that I did. So no, we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see what happens.
very superstitious group when it comes to that sort of thing.
They are, and I was I was okay with it though. So they probably blame
Yeah,
me for the loss, but nope, it wasn't my fault.
it's Dak Prescott
No, but I
or
want to see Victor Wembanyama. Like I want to see him. I want to see him win, dude. I want to see him. Like I mean, that's just gonna make my cards go up. I mean, I literally got my little
ooh,
Wemby
look at
card.
that.
Little pretty card over here. The value will go up on that. I would love for him to win. I really want him to win right now. So, but I mean, Lakers.
I,
Obviously, I'd prefer Lakers to win. But I mean, if they can't do it, because they're going against the Thunder, right? I think they're going against the Thunder, Oklahoma City. Oh, yeah, Oklahoma City Thunder. So,
there's no beating that team, especially when you have SGA flopping all over the freaking court. There's no way around it.
that's.
You can't beat that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm surprised that the Lakers are doing as well as they are doing. To be honest with you, I would love. I'm going to jump on board with you with the Spurs. I would love to see Wemby because he's a young, good
Yeah.
kid, great, phenomenal talent. I would love to see him out there go win a championship early in his career and just stack him on there and
Yeah.
just become one of the greatest ever.
I agree. I completely agree. And
Send me over some cards with Wemby's name on it.
I have a lot, but none of them that are worth. That was my only valuable one that I have. So it's like it's hard to get. It's hard to get those cards. They're just insane. It's just like in a Shohei Otani or like a
Yeah.
somebody special. It's really hard to do it. So anyways, what's our next thing? What do we got here on the list? Got NBA. We covered the initial. Man, my notes are all over the place. Why didn't I organize these before we started? Um, one second. One second.
You could do the like the trending cards if you want to speak on that.
Um, I mean, it's still right now. I mean, Shohei Otani's card's still going crazy. For MLB, Shohei's cards are just insane. The market for his cards right now, like you can just pull a base card set from anything, and you're already got like a $10 to $20 card just right off of like the rip. They just dropped the Topps Chrome football though, which has been like the biggest thing so far. Like that was the biggest. Hold on, one second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, my wife is calling me over and over again right now, and I think they're going to the hotel right now, so I'm having Evelyn talk to her. Sorry about that. So I don't have my notes with me right now, but anyways, so you're gonna have to read off the thing for just a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that. But yeah. So what was I saying? Before I
Well, you were talking about trending up cards, trending down.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So as of now, like I said, obviously the Wembies are all big right now. I mean, anything that's like, man, I'm trying to think. Aaron Judge, he's doing really well this year too as well. So his cards are on like are kind of on a scale, but there's nothing like Shohei Otani's card right now. It is just the best time to buy, the best time to like, even just sell too if you want to sell pretty high on his stuff right now. It just because like just the hype behind him in general is just insane. And then I'd say for like, football cards, I mean Patrick Mahomes is still like the number one card to get outside of like Joe Burrow, like Patrick Mahomes is still like the kind of like the main guy to get, for I guess anybody that like I mean Drake May's up there, but not as high as I think like Mahomes is going to be right now. Just his
Sure,
rookie
yeah.
cards are just insane. I'm hoping Joe Burrow has a very if Joe Burrow could stay healthy this year, which I don't think he can. They have to really improve the O line for that to happen. If he can sit there and improve, or if they can improve that, and he could stay healthy all year long, I think that his card could be super valuable. I think honestly, he's a better player than Mahomes is personally. And just based on what I see so far, but the problem is his injuries. He's so injury prone now, and he just, like I said, he's another Andrew Luck, just waiting to just have
Yeah.
the next injury, deteriorating finger or whatever. I think he had like some weird issue like that, or maybe that was Calvin Johnson, but or not, yeah, Calvin Johnson that had like a deteriorating like finger or something like that, cartilage or something like that. But yeah, no, it
Mhm.
sucks to see that, but yeah, I think in terms of that, um obviously, let me think of who else would be another big player. I mean, it's Wemby, Shohei, and Josh Allen too. Josh Allen's another one that's like is up there as well. It's mostly the QBs though, man. I mean, Archie Manning is projected to do really high. A lot of his cards are going up high value, which I'm hoping he does well. I think a lot of people are hoping he does well. I have a lot of his cards too, so I'm kind of
Mhm.
hoping he does well. The other person I want to do well because I have so many of his cards is Deion Sanders' kid. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
Shador.
Shador Sanders. I know he's just extremely slow and to listen to, but I'm hoping he does well. I have so many of his cards show up so much for me. I have like a stack of his cards that I don't even know. Like it's higher like than normal, but he barely played, not enough to like surprisingly have the following he has in terms of like value wise. So I mean, like I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. So
I honestly think, in terms of trending up, because the NFL draft just happened, you're talking those rookie cards are premium right now.
yeah,
So rookie card, parallel cards, to 25 to 10, one of ones, of course, anything like that on the rookie side is what's hot right now. Because the draft just
yeah.
happened, specifically QBs. QBs always going to drive in more cash. The number one overall pick, Mendoza. I know
I
he went
forgot
to
about
the
him. Yeah.
Raiders. So I would say, if you get your hands on a Mendoza, even though I don't think he'll succeed in the Raiders uniform, because no one ever does.
No, no, dude. I mean, that's why they ran McFadden, like Darren McFadden for, ran through that dude when he was a running back for, for them. 'Cause that's all they did was run the ball because they can't, their whole, again, it just comes down to their O line. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to watch those kind of teams, like, especially when you're playing fantasy too, as well. Because, like, you want to be able to pick up their QBs for these teams. It's just like, it's so hard to do that. Like, I had Joe Burrow last year, and he got injured halfway through, and it was just I don't know, man. It wasn't fun being having that, and then Cam Scatterboo, him getting injured like towards the end of the season was terrible, like, and it's high performing point person, just it's hard to see
Yep.
that. So um, but I
Yeah. I mean, I would say, if you can get your hands on a Mendoza right
I don't
now,
have none.
I would say flip it as quickly as you can, because I just don't see him as like this perennial superstar that's going to take the Raiders from bottom of the barrel to next level. I don't see any quarterback that can do that. So I think that the market is hot right now for Mendoza's, because he is a rookie and he was one of one, drafted first overall. So I would move on and move those cards and then invest in
Sell
the
him right
next.
before, sell him right
Yeah.
before he starts playing.
Yeah, 100%. But in terms of trending down, obviously when it comes to the draft, these overprinted base rookie cards, I know a lot of people like them and they're fun. It's just they're not going to bring a lot of money, just because there's too many unknowns with the rookies.
Yeah.
And you're talking about guys, a lot of these all-stars, they come out of like the second, third round, like the unknowns. So it's such a gamble when it comes to the base.
And what sucks about that too is that unless they're like, again, like you're talking about a high end superstar, like unless you got to show Hey Otani, like just in football, essentially, like because I can't even think of who would be that for football right now. Because I'm like, it would have to be maybe like a Tom Brady, essentially, like getting Tom Brady's rookie card, that type of thing. Like that would be like getting, striking gold essentially. But like Otani's rookie cards, their base sets or whatever for tops, I think are going for three, like graded PSA 10s going for like 300 or 400 a piece, and is the pitching
Mhm.
one's going for 300 or 400, and I think the batting one is going for 5 to 6. So I mean, like, and those are his base cards, his base, like the more. I mean, I want to say there's so many of those graded too, and they're just going for stupid money right now. So like, unless you get something like that going, that's the only way I see that happening with any newcomers that are coming through. Which again, I wasn't very happy with last year's rookies. I didn't really feel like there was a lot that was really that good. Scadaboo is probably, I mean, and he's already what, this is like his third year now, Scadaboo.
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third or fourth year, something like that. I mean, him being the biggest running back right now, I think currently, I think he's the most because he was already breaking, he was getting close to breaking records too as well. I want to say something like that. And he was doing really well, at least from what I understand. And so, but his value in terms of cards is extremely high right now. So it's still like he's one of the higher running backs to have. Same with I think it was, is it Baltimore's running back or is it Seahawks? One of the birds. Anyway,
Kenneth Walker.
could be. It could be Kenneth Walker. I'd have to.
He got moved from Seattle, but he was on that championship
Okay,
team.
yeah, probably him. I'd have to look at the cards again because I just went through them literally the other day. I'm trying to like organize them a little bit because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to sell, type thing. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to start getting rid of some of the stuff here soon. But yeah, I'm setting a lot of stuff into PSA. I have currently 15 cards in PSA getting graded right now for PSA, so I'm hoping
Nice.
get a nice chunk of change from that. So we'll see what happens. So
It's like you said, it's so risky though. You got to find an Otani or a Brady who don't look like gold when you first get them. Brady obviously sitting the bench with Drew Bledsoe as the starting quarterback.
yeah.
Otani, honestly, he was injured early when he got drafted and he was injured. I saw someone trade him off at their fantasy team for peanuts. And now he's fantastic.
But
But
oh man, I'd be
you
so mad if
never
that were
know.
me. That would be
He
so
was
mad.
drafted. He was drafted like first or second in our first year dynasty league draft, and then like 2 years later, he was always injured, and then he got traded away, and
Yeah, from
he's
Angels
fantastic.
to Dodgers. Yeah, maybe that's what he wanted to do. Maybe he was doing that on purpose to get traded. That's just kidding.
I don't know, but
I know.
in terms of cards, if you get lucky enough to find that diamond in the rough, and it turns out to be like an Otani or a Brady, then fantastic.
Yeah,
The only way you're going to find those is by actually buying packs and holding on to them. But for cards to kind of hold on to right now, the same as usual. It's the Brady's, it's the Kobe's, the Griffey's, the Jordans. Those are always going to continue to gain value. I
well,
mean, you've seen it, right?
they did a thing too for this last set where they're putting Tom Brady's signed stuff back into the fold again. So if you could get some of his signed stuff in this current, that's why I think a lot of people are going after it because there's also I think even Topps Chrome for baseball is doing that thing where apparently he signed this card saying if baseball doesn't work out, there's always football or something like that. There's a card that says that, and it's his like when there's like a card of him when he was younger that he had that was when he played baseball that he has out there that apparently it's another sought after card that people are looking for right now. It's like it's supposed to be, dude, I don't know how much it's gonna go for filthy money, dude. You're gonna be you're gonna be set for a while if you get that card. You know, it's just that's
100%.
that's the card I want to go after, but it's like, chance you getting is like insane. Like their numbers are insanely low. Like, but you know,
That's
and
how cards are. It's a gamble regardless. You're buying a pack and maybe you hit big, but you do it for the fun of it. And I mentioned it in the
yeah,
first episode. You do it for the fun of it. And if you can find a piece that you can add to your personal collection that you really love and enjoy, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I'm doing it with my kids too. So a lot of it, my kids all collect, so they all have like their own thing that they collect. Ethan's kind of he's gonna be probably inheriting all the sports cards that I have, but Evelyn has her Pokemon, and she already has like $10,000 worth of Pokemon already. Just like in like her little portfolio thing that she has through Rare Candy is insane. And I even think that on that end is like super low. It's like I don't even think they're like right comps anyways. They're decently priced, but I think that some of them are going for even higher. And she was just looking at a card the other day that at a like it's like a normal like $60 card, but at a PSA 10, I guess because it's so hard to get this card to PSA 10, it's like going for almost $1,000. It's like a $60 card that's going for like $1,000 if it's graded at a 10. So it's like
Oh,
yeah. So if she gets it graded now, she could get like $1,000 card just right there. So it's pretty cool just seeing that kind of thing happen. Just the card market's interesting, man. It's a very interesting thing to kind of go into. And there's all these variants, all these things. Like you even showed me all these variants that when we first started, when first I had to go through my entire collection. I ended up finding like 5 or 6 cards that I had variants on that were worth like 20 to $50 a piece. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to go through every single card that I had just to find
that's the
them. But
worst.
I had thousands of cards that I had to go through, and it took me. I think almost an entire week to go through it all, and I found like 5 cards that I was like, "Oh." And apparently there's all these football variants too now that they're coming out with where like the background, like your background right now would be like kind of blurred because you know how they do the blurred vision background. Well, instead they're doing like the team backgrounds. Like they have like the team. They also have the team border as well. So your border would be the team border or whatever. And then so they're doing things like that. And then now they apparently there's like a helmets off thing that they're doing. So if the football player has his helmet off, that's like supposed to be a variant as well. So like because
Oh my gosh.
like so like all these stupid things that like I'm like reading about that like are supposed to be rarer than others. It's interesting getting into the car market because it's
There's so many things
yeah,
like you mentioned, you have so many cards to go through, and you start going through and sorting through them and organizing them in a way that you know what you're looking for at that time, and then
yeah.
you figure out, oh, there's another variant, and then you have to go through all of it again. How many times have you gone through your collection just to find these different variants?
I think so far 3 times, and that's because I've learned of something new kinda going through it, so, like, I have to go through it one more time because of this new thing that they did, so, like, I'm apparently I don't know, there's other things I'm missing too as well that I've like, I'm watching all these videos on people talking about it, I'm like, "Great," so I have to go through, like and then, like, I'm looking for certain players too because like, certain players, even their base card, like I said I mean, Josh Allen's base card, things like that, like, just a simple base card is maybe his rookie card might go for a little bit more money. I have to look into it, but like, like Shohei Otani's obviously, if you get any Otani, it's like, it's automatically you're getting like minimum $5 out of that card, $5 out of the card minimum. Even if it's just crap card, it's like you get $5 at least. So it's like
Yeah,
the most basic card you get the most money out of. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, I like doing it. It's fun. I do it with the family, do it with the kids. So it's a cool little thing that we all do together. So yeah, it's
yeah.
fun.
No, I agree. I'd say I've had a blast with it so far. I did want to ask a question. I know I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. There's been these massive blowouts. I think the Knicks won by 51 in their final NBA game in that series over there. I wanted to ask this before. What's worse, losing big or losing close? How do you feel? Like, would you prefer getting smoked or losing on a buzzer beater?
As a fan, losing close, I think, would be worse. As a player, I'd rather just get I personally would rather just get destroyed. At least that way you can sit there and be like, we really need to improve because at that point, because like as a player, you're gonna be if it's a close game, you're gonna be wondering who was the weakest link at that point. If it's a blowout,
True.
then it's like everybody's at fault. We all
Everybody.
did well. Oh, we all did crap. And so I think for me, that would be my take on that. As a fan, yeah, I think losing close would be so disappointing. I don't know. I'm wondering how I'd. It's a good question. I'm wondering what I'd
I
prefer. Maybe I would prefer a close game and then lose it. No, no, maybe no. I'd rather just have a blowout. Like I'd rather have a blowout. That way I can stop watching it midway through and be like, "There's no hope,"
take
And then
some
I'm like,
time.
then I moved on with my life, because like for me, I hate that. Like I hate like being like to the edge of my seat and then like, oh, we lost. By the way, guys, we're done. It's like I don't know. I think for like I said, I think maybe in that instance that's where I'd prefer that. What about you?
And I thought about this a lot. So obviously, us playing sports, you're competitive. I'm competitive. To me, losing big is not only losing; it's embarrassing. If I'm
Yeah.
losing by a crap ton, that pretty much tells me that I shouldn't even be on the court, or our team shouldn't be on the court. Losing close shows that we're competitive, we're in the game. It could go either way. It's a coin flip. I want to know that I did the best I could. And I don't really look at it from a perspective like who was the weakest link tonight, because there's going to be people who have bad games or good
Yeah.
games any given night. But I would prefer to lose a close game, even if it's a buzzer beater, like a friggin' Hail Mary shot, from half court. I would prefer that as a fan, as a player.
Man,
It
I don't
still
know.
stings. It still stings, but it's not embarrassing. I don't want to be embarrassed. I do like the idea that you mentioned. As a fan, I'm saving time because I'm going to shut off the
Yeah.
TV if they're losing by
Yeah.
30.
No, I mean,
So I do like that.
but like, you're like, okay, as morale wise, I see the blame game happening if it was a close game. And like, if I'm already having a problem with the player already, like, especially if they're on my team and they're like a weak link. Because I mean, you've played, you've played in your career, and just like obviously, again, it never got to the point of being professional. Even for me, I did it the one year we went into doing semi pro. We were a really great. I played with my brother too. Me and my brother both actually run a semi pro team, and it was like a brand new team, so it was like kind of an easy way in, and we surprisingly did really well. But the times that we did do bad, there was always one person I can remember that I'm not gonna say any names, but like there's one person I remember just not being as good as everybody else, and he wouldn't want to improve himself though. And it was like to me, if I, at least I know it's not me, and then I can kind of like, what I mean, like for that. But like I don't know if it's close game though, and it was him that we're struggling with, and it was him. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad because like it's always you. You know what I mean? Like at least with me, like I said, if it was further away and we were losing, I'm like, well, I need to improve too. Everybody just kind of gave up, or it's like everybody, or whatever the case may be. I feel like I can justify that in my head better as opposed to like losing and it being that guy that I'm like, well, that's probably why we lost. Like, good because when it gets to him, he's being challenged and he's not able to sit there and keep up, or he's a little heavier on the heavier side. And he's good at like doing like specific things, like kicking the ball all the way up to me and like
Mhm.
getting it to the point where I can score a goal, but, like, when it comes to, like, keeping up with the fast player, he can't do that. So, like,
Right.
his aiming is great, but if you can't keep up with as a defender, if you can't keep up with, like, you know the fastest player on the team, because you're going as a defender, you're going against generally the faster player, the person that's and I was a forward, I was a striker. So I was always good at scoring, and that's I know we won a lot, and, yeah, I remember like my very one of my because I used to never want my parents to come because my mom would be screaming the whole time. My mom was one of those parents that was screaming on the sidelines the entire time, and it would just I'd be so focused on that I couldn't even focus on the game. And so like the times where my parents did show up, we did terrible. Times where they weren't, dude, I remember there was one game that we did, and within the first 30 seconds, we start. You know how you kick the ball forward in soccer. You kick the ball forward and like you generally kick it over everybody else, dude. I kicked like I freaking what is it called? I popped it up above everybody, went over, scored a goal within like the first minute, demoralized the entire team, and it was an easy win at that point. Like I've done stuff like that I thought was like really impressive. Like I was surprised at myself, but like again, like I said, with that type of thing, I'd rather be a blowout because if I did my best and then we lost, I could almost point out exactly why we lost, and that would be like at least skill level wise, I would know
Mhm.
that if they beat us badly, I'd be like, I need to improve a little bit more. I need to do this. Or always room
Yeah.
for improvement, but at least I can sit there and take part of the blame because I wasn't good enough as well.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Well, that leads me to the next question would be, would you rather be the best player on a bad team or an average player on a championship team?
average player.
And
Like, all right.
really?
Yeah. Like you're still getting a ring. You're still, you know what I mean? Like, because if you're a major league baseball player, or if you're like I mean, or even if you're on the bench, you're still getting a ring. You're still getting something. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting something.
But do you feel like you contributed? If you're a bench guy, you're a role player, do you feel like you're contributing? If you're a best player
I'll
on
do
on
my
on a
5 minutes.
bad team,
I'll do my 5 minutes when people need rest. Yeah. 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 If I can maintain, as long as I'm good enough to at least beat the player that's I'm playing up against, then yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good. Now, if I'm going against Michael Jordan, obviously, never mind. I'd rather, maybe I'd rather be the best player, but like, because I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question too, man. I'm wondering how I really feel about. Let me think about. Well, you answered. Let me see what I think. I'm gonna try to give you a better answer this after you tell me what you think.
yeah, so here's the reason I ask. So my daughter's, we just moved here from New York, and she had played for a lot of good teams out there in terms of softball. So her team is getting smoked just about every game. Their team lost 19-5. Um, this team over in Windham, Maine, they had this girl hitting home runs every at bat. She was smoking the ball. Biggest crowd I've seen out there. But her high school team is just getting smoked every game. And I asked her, I was like, you're one of the best players on your current team, and you're doing really, really well. She has one home run on the season, first one, and she's a leadoff hitter. She's now pitching as well. Um, you can lead this team and be whoever you want and just be fantastic and stand out amongst everybody, but you're going to lose every game more than likely.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a different school where you're going to be average. You have to fight for playing time. You could be bottom of the lineup, you never know. You could be in the middle of the lineup, but it's completely different. But on this better team, you have a better chance of winning a ton of games. Do you prefer to win, or do you prefer to be the best player? And it's a tough question. It's a tough scenario. That's why I
It's
asked.
a double-edged sword because you could be the best player and say you lose all the time. Who is going to challenge you enough to be a better player? Because let's just say like, okay, hypothetically, she's the best player on her team, but then she goes to a different school, and then she realizes really quickly she might not be the best player, and that her other team was holding her back big time. You know what I mean? Like, and just she couldn't improve because there's no one to compete against. There's no one to like. At least when I play against you, like if we're doing a run or if we're doing something, I know for a fact that I can at least like, I know there's competition. I know no matter what we do, it's going to be competition that I got to outdo you somehow. Like if it's soccer, whether it's football, whatever the case may be, depending on what we're doing. I want to be able to play better than you. You know what I mean? So to me, that pushes me to a point where like I'm going to work out harder that week. I'm going to sit there and run further, run longer. I'll try to do faster. I'll try to do anything I can to make sure I can sit there and be a better than you and hope that maybe you're doing the same because I want to see if I can improve or at least get faster than you in that span of time. That means I'm doing something right. With your daughter, she could get really complacent being in that position that she's in because why am I going to try as hard? Because even if I try at my okay, like my maybe her middle is still better than them. You know what I mean? Why
Yep.
is she going to try? I'll just throw like I don't care whether or not they hit it or not, but I'm just gonna throw and I'm still gonna get some outs. I might, like you said, might get a home run. But like if we're already losing, what's the point like of me really even trying as hard? I feel like she'd be challenged more if she was on a team full of better players because then you can challenge yourself to be better. I mean, they talked about Kobe Bryant all the time about how he would get in way before practice, way before the game started, way before practice started, and leave the last person to leave. You know what I mean? If you're not, if as and you hear about players like seeing that because I see interviews all the time where the players always talk about Kobe Bryant's work ethic and him being the best player, and just the amount of workload he puts into it. No one ever got there before him. They try to get there before him thinking that they would, and he'd just be already outperforming them. When they were already tired, he would still keep on going for hours at a time. So it's like to me, like you're the last person, first person in, last person out. If I was on his team, I would try to replicate that in some way, shape, or form. That way, it'll push me to be better. I mean, and that's one of the biggest Kobe's biggest frustrations with Shaq in terms of how Shaq could have been even better than he was. Is that he didn't
Mhm.
try very hard. He was already at a point where he knew that he could kind of just, and I love Shaq to death. I think he's an awesome player, but um, I remember I've seen interviews where Shaq talks about that a lot, where he was just like, Kobe gets so frustrated with me because he saw my potential and knew that I could do better, and he just didn't care. But like for me, if I saw Kobe doing that, I would want to be like that. That's how I would. And if I'm the second best player on the team, I'm happy with that. That'd be to me. That's like I can't be better than Kobe. I know I probably can't be better than Kobe, but if I was the second best, I would be happy with that. So like I don't know. That's something maybe to think about. Because I mean, her you could always put her on a traveling team. You could take her off the high school team. And put her
Yeah.
on a
No,
traveling team and just do it that way. I mean that you know, but there's a huge
I do agree
difference.
with you. I do agree. So she is on travel team, and you're right. It's 100% different than the high school team. It's very, very competitive. And I do agree with you. I would prefer to be on a competitive team going after championships and just be the average player as opposed to, the best player on the worst team and never winning.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I want it to mean something, even if it's a small amount of playing time and I made a contribution towards a championship, that's enough for me. But at the same side, it builds that competitiveness. It builds that character that, like you just described, where I'm going to compete with the best there is and build those work habits that are going to transition later in life. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know because like if I were a younger player, I don't know because like I did ASO soccer and I never did traveling team up until the point I went semi pro. That was the first time I've ever been in a league because I did, and that was I was a better player than probably most people in AYSO, that which is like their organization for California. I don't know if it's worldwide or whatever or nationwide. Um, but like I was always better than them. But the second you go to like club teams, you're like the difference in skill is so much higher, way
Yes.
higher. And like I didn't realize that until I went to the semi-pro league, and that was like a whole different universe for me. But I still did really well. But then the times that we did lose, I'm like, oh my god, that's when I almost knew that I'm not as good as I thought I was, and that can't be a career for me. You know what I mean? Because I already knew, like, I knew that I wasn't like at the time I'm working too. So like I'm working for the first time, and I was working at UPS. So like I was making good money from my age. I was like 18 years old, so I was making really good money. And I went to the military shortly after that, you know, because I think I got in at like 18. And I did that for almost a year, 9 months, maybe almost a year. And while I was doing that, I was in the semi-pro league, so I'd play on the weekends. You know, I'd go to the practices, but like when I'm practicing with certain players outside of my brother, because my brother was really good. He was a good midfielder. You know, you're running a lot as a midfielder. He was one of the best midfielders for me, especially like me and him worked really well together. Surprisingly, I could play with my brother really well, which I never thought that would ever be a thing. You know, but my brother, I actually respected my brother and how he played. He kept on playing too as well. So he actually kept on playing past that for a little bit, and he actually blew out his knee, which is pretty. He could have been a really good. He's tall too. He's taller than me, so he was a good player. He could keep up. Yeah, I mean, he was able to feed me the ball a lot as well. So it really worked well in tandem. And I don't know, like I said, the skill level on the times that we did lose, because we had another guy that was really, really good midfielder as well. I want to say his name was Ben, and he was really good player. Played midfielder really well, just didn't play any other position really well. He just for whatever reason, midfielder was just center midfield was what he liked playing the most. Same with my brother. And dude, I mean, they both worked really well together. We won a lot of games doing it that way. But like I said, just the skill level was so different. And I'm like, and then I did in the Air Force. The Air Force I did it really good because in San Angelo I did it there. But then like you're in security forces, so it's like your chance of you getting a set steady thing because they were trying to make it to where that we were playing other bases, things like that, and it was really cool doing it. But because I was doing it for the
Mhm.
San Angelo base. So that was cool. It was a great opportunity. I played with. There was a captain on my team, a major on my team. They were all really good players. Like luckily, I was still a good like compared to them. I was really good. So like I don't know. I still outperformed them. You know what I mean? Even when I wasn't even because I was also getting a lot bigger and like faster and stuff. Going out of the military, I started getting a lot bulkier. So like, but yeah. So yeah.
No, but honestly, I think it happens for everybody. It seems like everybody in sports, and I realized this as a coach when I was coaching my son playing ice hockey, there's always somebody better. And you might think, hey, I'm at the top level right now. I'm playing AAA hockey right now. That's the best there is. You go to a different state, Shattuck St. Mary's, and you're playing that team and they smoke you. And you're like, okay, I guess there's better players than me. And then they'll go and they'll get smoked by somebody. It seems like it never ends. Um, there's always somebody better. But again, it just builds that work ethic. You can think you're at the best stage right now, but there's always someone better. So keep working.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But that's another question: is are rings more important, or are rings the only thing that matter? Winning championships, is it all that matters, or do you feel better if you make the playoffs? Or
I mean, I think the whole point is to try to become. See, I have more of a personal thing when it comes to playing sports. I want to be the best player. I don't really care as much about. I mean, I like winning. Obviously, winning is a good part of it, but I do like being the best on the field. I hate being like the player that everybody's like, "Damn it! Like, what's going on?" Like I hate being that player that like
you're killing
is
us out
is yeah
there?
the one that's like screwing up. So like I think in general I prefer I like winning, but I mean like we didn't win the championship for the semi-pro team because like it wasn't that big of a deal. And you know to me I just liked winning. I didn't care if we won the championship. I did like winning though. It was fun doing that and outperforming other players. Like I said, we were playing against one of the best teams like I was telling you about where I scored within like the first 30 seconds, and my confidence level went through the roof after that, and automatically I was already playing a million times better because I was trying to get as many points as I can when I played against them. So like automatically, I just felt like I was better, and I might not have been, but I just happened to perform better just because we were already at a starting win. You know what I mean? So it was like I don't know. It all depends. It all depends. So, but
Yeah, I think championships for New England in general, when you're in there all the time and you're winning or competing, for us, for me, it's all about the championship. I don't care if I have a small role, large role, doesn't matter. As long as we're winning, that's all I care about.
I can see that. I can see that. Like I said, I mean, but I mean, like we're also on opposite ends of the. You're on the. I'm on the West Coast, so obviously Lakers, Dodgers. They win a lot as it is too. Same with, I mean, same with Celtics, and same with the. Well, they used. They won the Red Sox. You know what I mean? And then you got the Bruins, who I don't know how. I've never really heard them playing as well ever since like like older back in the day they played really well, but it was always like was the Red Wings that always like did like were one of the best teams for years and years and years. Like Red I want to say the Red Wings were like the one of the best teams for like ever. So I mean, it wasn't even like the Boston side of things, but Celtics have always been winners. They were winners the second the Michael Jordan era ended. The Celtics were winning all the time. So like it was so
It was the Celtics Lakers going back and
yeah,
forth for a while there.
yeah.
So, but you're absolutely right. I mean, the Celtics been competitive for a while. The Red Sox for a while were switching with the Yankees for a bit. Now it's kind of like the Dodgers show, and we're all living in that world.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great time.
Uh, no, but yeah, for me, it's all about the championship, and that's why I get so frustrated when I see the Red Sox and John Henry not invest in the team because he doesn't seem to have the same priorities as some of the fans do.
Like you're saying, F1. I mean, F1's becoming such a big thing right now too, because it's just going to those. Like I went to my first F1 race, worked it. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like the amount of people that showed up, the how cool it was because I went to the Vegas one, the when they did the F1 race in Vegas the first year. That was insane. Like the amount of people that were there, the amount of people that were enjoying it, and I'm like, man, was never really big into that up until I went. I was like, I could see the allure because they make it way more fun. Just even just being there, they make it way more fun.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was a little shocked, but yeah,
Yeah, football or soccer in Europe, it's such a, I was stationed in Germany for 4 years, and it is a culture out there. Everyone comes out, they're ready to go. It is very, very hyped. It's chaos. And I'm not a big soccer or football fan. So when I went out there for the first time and I saw it with a couple of friends, I was like, this is awesome.
yeah.
It's the atmosphere. It's like playoff sports over here in New England. But no, I loved it over there. And I'm not a formula guy or a
Me either.
soccer guy, but at the end of the day, if I'm there for the experience, that's a fantastic experience at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree with that. That's funny. I don't have my notes in front of me up them, so you're gonna have to read it off until
No, I was just I was kind of going through the different questions that I had that off the top of my head. I know at some point I would love to talk about the flopping pandemic, if you will, in the NBA
in
and
basketball.
where it's kind of going. Is it good for basketball? Is it bad for basketball? How do we get away
It
from
looks
it?
it looks bad. It's the same thing with flopping in soccer too, as well. So I mean, even soccer, the same thing. It's hard to watch. I was never one of those people that like doing that. I'm not a big fan of doing that. But like me being because I mean, when you're playing in California, me being a bigger person, if I could just nudge someone, compared to like like I said, you get a little Mexican dude running with you that's like in it, in his mid 20s, to and they throw themselves across the floor, do a tumble and all that, like just
Uh,
this overdone like I don't know, man. It's I hate seeing it, and I know basketball is terrible about it. But who do you think's the worst flopper in the NBA right now?
there's got to be a tie at this point for me.
LeBron?
Jalen Brunson
No,
and
LeBron's pretty
Shea
bad too.
Gilgis.
Let's
Oh
see.
god, between the two of these guys, I cannot. It's getting to the point where it's unwatchable for me because it's embarrassing to watch. I am so passionate about this. I hate it so much. LeBron is known for flopping too. Like you
Yeah,
nudge this dude, one of the biggest guys out there, and he's freaking falling over all over the place. What I hate about it the most is
I'm gonna try to pull some up.
SGA is he's initiating contact, and SGA will pump fake, have you jump up straight up, and he'll jump into you, and then he'll flop. And it's so exaggerated, and I'm so tired of seeing it. Jalen Brunson, very similar. You nudge him, he'll hold, he'll hook your arm, and then he'll be like, "Oh, you're holding me," and then he'll fall, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And they're getting the calls. SGA gets to the free throw line all the time. And then I'm watching Chet Holmgren on that Thunder team, and that whole team is kind of learning from SGA at this point, where they're just flopping around on the court. And you explained it perfectly. It's like watching soccer, and I hate watching soccer. I'll go for the atmosphere, but watching flopping players all over the field, it's like watching actors. Just can I sell it today? Am I flopping well enough today to get the call? And it's just embarrassing. I think it hurts the game, to be honest with you. What do you think on
Well,
it?
I'm gonna pull up a video of him doing that right now, and I'm gonna go because I have not. foul baiting. That's what they call it. Foul baiting is, I think, is what it's called, right? Let's see if I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I'm gonna pull a video of him doing this. Let me see if I can get this up. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let this commercial run, and then we're gonna
You're
bring
gonna
it up.
get me. You're gonna get me irritated. I'm telling you, I can't stand watching it in real time, and then I see the video. It's just gonna
Okay.
Credit Shea as an
ruining it.
MVP caliber player. I'm criticizing the
All right,
refs
all right.
for making the game harder to
I
watch
You're gonna
found
get all
and
these
something.
damaging the
passionate
product
people to feel the
with
same
these
way
types of
about this.
calls. And while it wasn't the reason the Wolves lost, it did impact the game with multiple players in foul trouble,
Hold on.
forcing
Okay,
them to
that's
play
not
softer on the defense.
Okay, hold on.
And to
Foul.
be honest with you, I can't even think about another player that does it outside of LeBron, Shea Gilgeous, and Jalen Brunson. And I know I have a buddy out there. He's a big New York Knicks fan, and he will die on that hill. He'll be like, Jalen Brunson's not. He's not doing it. People are fouling him all the time. I was like,
Oh
no.
my
Watch
gosh, I
this.
can't stand that.
Jalen Brunson will walk up to the guy, hook him as he's dribbling, and then he'll be like, he'll fall because of it. And it's like,
Whistling a foul.
this is ridiculous, and he does it all the time. So you'll see it in the videos.
I think this is it. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, this is already gonna irritate me already.
Is it embarrassing?
This is gonna be interesting. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and share this real quick. Okay, we're going to share this out. Let's go ahead.
It's got my screen name. It's Iceman04.
Okay, let's see. Let's pull this up. Let's do the volume. Can you hear it?
Well, that's a good call. They call a foul on Mobley. Nobody likes the call in this building.
Yeah.
And look, for me, watching you could do in your first year.
Well, you think about the firepower that they have on that team. You got,
Look at this. Look at this.
Gilgeous Alexander.
What is he doing?
Hard to see.
The dude's like,
And
the dude's
Throw the
over
head back.
6 foot, dude. Like,
likely had Caruso not fouled.
He jumps in. He goes into the guy.
Gilgeous Alexander trying to draw the ball. He's going to get to the line. As the game clock hits 5.
Look at that.
It's a game. It's got a little size advantage here, and assuming that's going to be. Thunder can get it down to single digits.
He goes into him. He jumps into him.
To get that number 1 pick is that much more defense from the Hawks. Take the lead in the third quarter, Michael. How do they finish it off here in the fourth? Oh, just continue. Pull up that three, no good. Here's right back to him. Now he wants to drive. Normally would try to
Drives at the guy.
oh my gosh, man.
That's one of those plays too. His only points is not via the free throw line.
Shea Gilgeous a combined 3 of 20 from the field.
Minnesota needed some size here for
proud
the
of that.
final
He's
minute
proud of
40.
that. See
John
how proud he
Minot,
is?
That's his
30
game.
rebounds a game. The 21-year-old out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shea Gilgeous.
He's
There's
driving
about
at the
community
guy.
is exactly where I want to be. So I had this moment, and I was like, what better opportunity to connect with other
He
like-minded
jumps right into him.
Wiggins with 6 at 13 right now.
You think it's just second nature at this point?
It is.
It looks
is
so
100%.
natural. Like, I'm like, man, he must do this all
99-96.
the time.
He is 5 of 5 tonight. His demeanor never changes.
And then who was that on the
Trying to put
sideline?
game on
Jalen
ice.
Brunson.
He does.
Learn from the
From
best.
that a lot in the NBA. Shot fake, guys on a side step and shoot the
Drove at him.
Deluda back into the play field. Contested 3. Hits the side of the backboard. There's one way to play. That's extremely hard and aggressive. Off balance, Gilgeous out.
He's that close. I would be like, okay, let's make
so
a pass
interesting.
and just kind of run at him and make him think about it.
What is that?
Trying to check Shea Gilgeous. Oh. Drives it.
Got it back down to 10. Holmgren on the dive. Got it outside to SGA. Gonna spread it back out.
You see what he just did there?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Arnold, the Terminator 2. Definitely some intimidation.
There's so many clips of it. It'll go on forever. There's so many. It's like I said. It's terrible. It's terrible for the sport. Jalen Brunson, you saw him on the side there. Learn from the best. Now they both do it. I want to see them play each other and then freaking foul bait them each other. It's embarrassing.
The whole jerking head I'm like, they're acting like they're getting hit in the face. There's not even a hand near their face. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Soccer's way worse though. I'm gonna say right now, watching them flop on soccer, like I said, because they'll be running and then they spin like 50 times, like on the grass, and then hold their knee, like on that episode of Family Guy where Peter gets hit in the knee and he's like, ugh, like the whole time, like just hold on to their knee forever. And then they get up and then they're fine. It's the dumbest thing ever, dude. Like
give it 5 years and the NBA might be there. But no, I agree. Soccer is much worse, but NBA, it's just embarrassing to watch.
It's getting there. That's pretty bad. He was doing that every single play. That's crazy. He's crazy.
He's driving the hoop, taking the space. Usually if a defender is in that space, you can't get a foul for that. You're holding your space. It should be a charge. But he drives, he just throws it up, and then he claims that he's being hit along the way. But he's driving into that space.
Hey, at least he's dedicated to the craft. He should be an actor.
Sure is. It's just crap. And everyone is like, oh, he's one of the best players. He's a talented player. Don't get me wrong. Talented player. But he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't. And he doesn't.
Well, basketball has become less physical, though, as time has gone on, though. That's been proven. I get it. That's funny.
100% agree. Yeah, I miss the old times where it was like a friggin' brawl out there. The Detroit Pistons used to beat the crap out of people. So I miss those times.
That's so funny. I did not expect to see that. That's so weird.
Gosh. So seeing that, and you have free reign out of anybody in the NBA right now, and I think we kind of covered this a little bit last year. You had to pick a cornerstone guy, knowing that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting to the free throw line every freaking game, 15 plus times. He's in the MVP race every single year. Are you building a team around someone like that? Or are you going to go after somebody like a Jokic or Doncic? What are your thoughts on that?
I would do Jokic. Jokic's, dude, I watched his gameplay, dude. He gets fouled all the time, but he runs through everybody. He still tries to make the shot. He'll get fouled, but he doesn't do all that. That's unnecessary.
Right.
And he's a fun player to watch. I was a little shocked because, like I said, he seems like just such a weird dude in general, slow moving guy. But watching him play, I wasn't expecting him to have moves like that, dude. That was a lot better than I thought for him being his size. He's a big dude, and
he is a big
moving
boy
around like that. I give him mad props for that, dude. He's a way better player than I ever thought he was gonna be. So that was
completely agree.
I watch highlights of him every once in a while, and I'll watch his play, and I'm like, man, he's a lot better than I gave him credit because I just didn't think he was that good. Personally, he just doesn't look like he would do very well until I started seeing highlights of him, and that was pretty fun to watch. So
I think what does it for him, he's got fantastic vision. So if you're going to double him, someone's going to be open, and he's going to find that person open every single time. So they have to play honest and do man coverage. So he has a big enough body where he's like a Shaq. He can take over most of the space that you're giving him and just bump you until he gets to the rim and then just put it up every single time if you really wanted to. Or he can dish it off. He can shoot threes. He can collect rebounds. He's a triple-double machine.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Well, that's why he's won MVP a couple times. So, yeah, I would agree with you. So I'm building the cornerstone. If he's the cornerstone piece, that's who I'm taking.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's really good. That's, like I said, it's fun to watch. Basketball and sports are fun to watch. It's good to get back into this again. Since doing this, get to kind of watch a little bit more stuff kind of go on. It's fun to watch. So it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, no. So right now I'm doing the fantasy baseball. I know, we're all doing fantasy. Baseball is such a long season. My team is 1-3 right now.
Oh,
and I did want to
start. Nice start.
It's not good. So at the start, I wanted to talk about this just because it is a point of frustration for me.
Okay.
I know you know enough about baseball where you know who the good players are, and I can bring my team up.
Okay.
And be like, is this a team that should be 1-3?
Okay, let's see. Let's hear it.
This is a dynasty team, right? I got Liam Hicks. He was a free agent pickup. New guy. You probably won't know him.
No, I don't.
He's
big name.
Bryce Harper plays for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's a beast out there. Freddie Freeman, you know who he is.
Yeah.
Ozzy Albies for
He's
Atlanta.
On the Dodgers, right? Yeah, Freddie Freeman's on Dodgers.
Freddie Freeman is.
Yep.
Yeah, Albies is one of the better second basemen right now. He plays for Atlanta. Matt Chapman from the Giants. Trey Turner from Philadelphia.
Okay.
I got Brian Reynolds from Pittsburgh. Bobby Witt, of course, is on my team as shortstop. Luis Robert has been always injured.
Okay.
Yep. Wyatt Langford, I told you about him.
Yeah, you told me about that guy. Yeah.
And I got a bunch of prospects. And then my pitching, I got like one of the better pitchers, young pitchers, Yuri Perez, Drew Rasmussen. Jacob deGrom is out there, Billy Ober. These are like some top pitchers.
I'm not
and I'm
familiar with any of them.
So I don't have like
I knew like all the other players other than like the pitchers. That I'm not as familiar with the pitchers.
Yeah, Jacob deGrom is an older guy. He's been in Texas for a little bit now.
Okay.
He's a stud. He's just usually injured. So
I'm gonna have to see his face. I'm gonna have to see his face because I'll have to look him up. I recognize people's faces better than I do their names. So, but I'm sure if I saw his face on the card, I'd know what he is.
At the start of the season, when they did predictions, I had like a 99% prediction to make the playoffs.
Well, just
I'm down
based
to like,
on your majority team, I recognize all those names just because based on like what I've seen on cards and like I know who are generally is the better players, and those are all pretty, at least I'd say a little above mid-tier players. At least you got a couple that are a little higher than that too as well. So at least you got I mean, for having, I'd say probably kind of a like more of an elite team, I'm kind of shocked that you're doing so bad.
I don't get it either. Maybe I'm a slow starting team. I can't figure it out, but I don't know. It's rough right now. 1-3, 60% chance of making the playoffs. My brother's.
See, I want to comment on something, but like if I do that, then it's gonna change how you look at how I look at players, and I don't want to get. I'm playing you this year, and I can't tell you because I think I did baseball with you one season, and I didn't even finish it because it was like so hard to keep up. And I want to say how I did it. My team was pretty good, and they actually, like, surprisingly, when I wasn't even monitoring it, it was doing really well on its own, and I wasn't even changing my lineup very often. And so, like, I'm curious to know, like, how you're looking at players, and I don't want to say too much though because it'll give away too much.
I want to know all your secrets so that when we go into the fantasy football league, I'm ready to go.
I can't. I have a specific way of doing it, and I think it's different than a lot of other people do it. I am very different than how I play fantasy football, like or fantasy in general. I'm very big on like certain things, and I wish I could say it because I'd give away my hand way too much. And like I said, I can't have you or your brother beat me at all, so I have to make sure that I keep that close to my chest.
I think what's tough, what's nice about football, it's essentially once a week. You set your lineups once a week. You can do your waiver pickups and stuff like that. You'll have Thursday games, Saturday games, sometimes Sunday games, Monday games.
So weird to try to like do that.
But like baseball, it's such a long season, and there's games
baseball.
every
That's what
single
That's
day.
what I meant. Like doing it for baseball, I think that'd be so weird. Like that's too much. I remember when I played with you the one time, it was like so like overwhelming, dude. It was like like football, I could manage. I could probably manage basketball, even though basketball is kind of similar. I just don't see myself doing. I don't see myself doing baseball, man. It is just too much to be focused on. And then I don't even know how I'd work out who would be playing because then it's like, I don't know if I could do that.
It's tricky because baseball, it's so in depth. Like you have a minor league team and there's always call ups throughout the season. So rookies can be really, really good. And you don't know if you want to go get this guy or take off a veteran from your team. There's so many players.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
It's so hot and cold. NBA, you have G League, but you're not really taking guys out there and they're going to be competing at high levels usually in the NBA.
How many players do you do it with baseball? Or how many teams?
28. Oh, there's 16 teams in this league.
Okay, so but I mean, even so, it's so spread out. Like I'm sure everybody has a decent player. Like you probably one person probably has. I mean, obviously who's winning right now? Who's the guy that's winning right now in your league? Does he have Shohei or Aaron Judge or any of the big names?
The guy who has Shohei is actually he's 3-1. He's tied in first. So actually, I would say there are 2 4-0 teams, and one really rebuilt his team very, very well. He was dead last the last like couple of years, and that was team's great. They're all young. The other team is kind of older, but they're still competing at a high level. But the Shohei team is 3-1 this year.
Sounds
because they're a pitcher. He's a pitcher, and he gets stats for hitting as well. So you're doubling up.
That's so. See, that's why
it's fantastic.
That would make me so mad if I didn't have Shohei or something like. I'd have to pick him up first round. Like I don't even know. Like I don't know if I'd be able to.
Oh.
That's
Shohei is when he applies to both pitching and batting stats, it's a no-brainer. You take him first every single time. I don't care who else is out there. he puts up 1,000 points a season, and usually the average is like 600 for really good players.
That's insane, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to vent a little bit on that fantasy team just because it is a little disappointing, and it's the bane of my existence right now.
That's actually so funny. Oh man, that's why I can't do baseball. I can't do it. It's just too much. I'm sure
It is a lot.
like I get so consumed with football as it is, and that's already a lot. I would literally just have to go. I wouldn't even have, I don't know. Gut instinct goes into it a little bit too. It's like I feel like I wouldn't be able to have that at all with baseball because of how, you know, especially with this new system. I don't even know, dude. It'd be hard. It'd be hard to figure out. But yeah,
Yeah, that's why I think football is such a big draw. It's because you don't have to be as immersed into it. If they're competing at an NFL level, that's your field of players. There's no one else coming up that's going to be competing. Usually, rookies might kind of get stronger as the year goes on, but you have a good idea. I'm going to draft this guy because he could be good. Baseball, who knows? There's up and comers all the time. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There could be another Shohei Ohtani out there.
Sure. And I'll have that baseball card as soon as they come out.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover for the fantasy baseball team.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm not doing any fantasy yet until we start the football league. So, plus I'm already like hockey's almost done, basketball's almost done. So I mean, like really, the only thing we get into is baseball, and I'm not starting that up. So I'll probably play maybe next season. I might try out basketball, maybe even hockey. I might even consider doing hockey. That would be kind of fun to kind of get into, learn a little bit of players that way. I think it'd be easier. That's how I learn, anyways. Like most players, as it is. So I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a hockey league. You know.
Well, if you beat me in football, I'll invite you to the hockey league so I can win there.
Dude,
instead.
if I beat you in hockey, I don't think I'd ever I wouldn't let you live that down, just to let you know.
I'd have to stop doing fantasy sports altogether.
Like I feel like people have already done that with me already as it is, so nobody likes playing with me anymore.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun when we do start that up, and it's right around the corner too. So
that's funny.
Was there anything?
I'm gonna post videos in the family fantasy football, just talking trash to everybody.
Do little clips of our
winning,
podcast.
If I'm winning, I'm gonna do that. By the way, I'm just gonna and I'll even bring it up on the podcast of me just talking trash to everybody. If I lose this year, oh my gosh, it's gonna suck so bad. If I don't at least get like top 4, I'm not gonna be happy about that. So we'll see.
Dude, you're pushing your chips all in, especially when you're posting your trash talk. You better win.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. We'll see.
No, but in terms of the agenda, I think we covered everything that we were looking to cover, unless you had something else that you were looking at.
You did have some questions about military questions. I don't like in terms of like sports and military. I don't have my phone in front of me, so and I did have notes, but if you want to get into that real quick, we can, because we got a little bit of time. You know what I mean? We're still doing it on time right now.
Okay, yeah. So discipline in sports versus military structure, comparisons, pros, cons, differences. What are your thoughts? You're talking about a team sport and what it takes to be great at it, and then the structure that the military instills in you in basic training.
That's a good question, because I feel like there can be similarities, but there's also huge differences as well, because I don't think it ever improved my drive or change how I thought about doing things. I think that maybe in terms of wanting to get bigger, I think I was maybe that kind of pushed me to kind of want to bulk up like a lot. But outside of that, when it comes to the similarities, I personally don't think, because I feel like you either have it or you don't. You either have the drive to want to play really well, because I feel like when a lot of people are in sports, I think some people know that they're not going to be very good and that they still like the sport because they like playing it. And, if you put enough time in, you're going to be better than an average person will be going into it, especially if you put in enough time. But I think if you have drive, some, for instance, in the military, here's a perfect example. You were willing to play the game. I was not, if that makes sense. So you were willing to, you were willing to sit there and conform better than I was able to. And what I mean by that, not in a bad way, I'm not talking trash at all. At all saying this, which means that like you knew so. And I'm not saying it's manipulation because it's not. I thought I thought you did a really good job, but you knew how to when you have to, like, for instance, when we're rating on an EPR standard, you knew how to hit every bullet that you needed to hit at the bare minimum to get exactly fitting in what you needed to get a 5. I was not willing to do that. So to me, that's kind of where maybe me and you were different in that sense.
Yeah.
And you played the game way better than I did in that sense, because I would argue with leadership, or I'd get in trouble talking to leadership. I remember like cussing out Sergeant Jones, or there's other people I was gonna mention, but I don't know if they're gonna watch this, so like I don't want to say any names. But there's other people that like were the second they got staff sergeant, they started to get a little me being a lot bigger than those people. I was not willing. You knew who I was. I mean, I wasn't the nicest person in the world. In the military. Especially when it came to like stupidity. But I also thought that we did a lot of stupid things in the military. I thought we did a lot of dumb things. I wasn't willing to conform on that level. No, don't get me wrong. I knew how to play the game. I knew how to play. I knew how to be a player. I knew that, like, for instance, when I went through Airman Leadership School, I was competing with you in that own sense, because that was the one thing I was like, I need to do better than Up on this. And it was literally, I mean, literally, it's as simple as that. I mean, and that's how I got an award off of it. You know what I mean? Like, and that was where the competitive side, where I knew how to, based on how I knew you played the game, I was like, I need to play the game the same way. And I did it exactly the way, structurally, how you're supposed to hit all those dot your I's, cross your T's. I did exactly to a T where I wanted to beat you in a subject where I knew that you didn't beat me in. And that's where I was like, I needed to do, I'm not even kidding. That was the hardest I've ever worked in my entire like military career. Like, that was the hardest I've ever worked. Not in terms
I'm
of like,
glad I could be a part of that.
not in terms of like obviously we did a lot of like, stupid things. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where I wanted to beat someone in something just to kind of, and I rubbed it in your face too. But it was just for fun. I liked doing it because, and it did motivate me, and it was a good look on me because, it changed my perspective on how I wanted to do things and where I wanted to be at with the military. I did really well doing K9, and it's kind of like, honestly, just kind of took its own form. So, I mean, I'm really happy I did it the way I did it. I learned a lot from that experience. But I knew at 8 years, I didn't want to do it anymore. That was, especially with all the stuff that was going on too as well. But it's like, I didn't want to play that game anymore. It was too much of a, you really got to make sure that you hit all the minimums you have to hit. You have to go to school. You have to donate your time. You have to do all these things to sit there and get a 5. It doesn't matter how well you perform at your job. I could be the best cop or best K9 handler in the entire base, in the entire, United States Air Force. But if I don't hit the bare minimums of like going to school or, and nothing wrong with going to school. I just didn't want to do it while with our job, it was just so annoying to do it without the kind of like, support that I needed for that. You know what I mean? It was not the time for me to do that. And I did not want to do it there during that time. So it's like, even I just didn't want to play that game. And it was not fun. And for you to promote, you got to hit those things. So you have to. And they started getting really, really strict on getting those things. They weren't just giving them out. They were starting to like, okay, well, are you doing community service? Well, no. Well, then, okay, well, you're getting a 4. It's like, I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're working all the time. First of all, we were sleeping up there at one point at Creech Air Force Base. You know what I mean? Like, that is a lot to give already. And then like, because on the normally operating Air Force, I think I could have probably played the game like you did. Like, and I think that's where you probably even you strive during that time, because you're able to be a part of the normal Air Force. When we were in with me, we were not. And we had the dumbest hours, Panama schedule, or whether it's Panama schedule, where we're sleeping up there for 3 days out of the 4 days, and like people aren't showering, and we're getting into the bunks of people that are not showering, and like it smells in all the rooms. Just like, it just is like, it's staying away from your family for 3 days and then 2 days. And then it's like, bro, it's, I don't know, man. With that, I just think that sports, I'm sure there is structure to it, but I think that you already have to have that into it. You already have to have that drive to want to be the best at something. Like I said, I knew where I could be the best at certain areas, and I knew I could, if I wanted to play this game, I could do it, and I know I can do good at it, but I just didn't want to. It's a big difference there. So with you, I mean, you were willing to do it. I thought, again, when I met you, thought you're gonna be a lifer, 30 years. So it's like, I knew, but you play the game so well, and it worked in your favor so many times. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why so many people respect you. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really, I'm sure and I'm sure you leaving early was not planned. I mean, obviously it wasn't really something you want to do, but I think that a lot of people respect you outside of, like, what I mean, just the people that know who you are in general, so they respect you a lot for it. So
It's crazy where I started. I started off, I went to college. I didn't complete it. I was going for a criminal justice degree. I joined the military because, I wanted to boost my resume essentially.
yeah,
And I was a very competitive person when it came to sports. And I wouldn't say that I had discipline in sports because I knew that I was good, but I wasn't the best. But I didn't care about being the best. All I cared about was competing at my current level. So I didn't really develop a discipline in sports early on in my career. And even now, if I really had that discipline to want to be the best, I'd be out there practicing every single day. But I never had that drive when it came to sports per se. I knew I could compete at a high level as currently constructed, and I never went beyond that. Now, when it came to the military, again, I was working at Walmart prior to joining. I didn't know what growing into a real human, a functional human being felt like or looked like. So the military kind of taught me or kind of gave me a path to follow. Okay, you need to do X, Y, Z. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I had to go get my education or
yeah,
volunteerism. I learned that I needed to do that early on in order to compete, to promote. Everyone wants money, right? So the only way you're going to make more money is by promoting. And I learned early on that I need to check all of these boxes if I'm going to make more money. So I played the game, and I hated the fact that I had to play the game because it's not everywhere, but it exists in a lot of civilian jobs that exist right now, where you have to speak a certain way to certain people to put yourself in a position to be successful.
yeah,
You can work your butt off, and it may not mean enough if you don't know the right people.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
agree.
saying that's in that's not across the board. Don't get me wrong, but hard work pays off. But playing the game to a certain degree also pays off. And I'm not talking you to be a butt kisser out there,
Yeah, no,
with your
I was
boss.
never that. I never did that.
No,
But no, I
but
get
I
what you're
think
saying. I get what you're
military
saying, though. I get what you're saying.
I think the military gave me an idea of, how do I develop and work hard for, what I want, as opposed to like the sports piece of it. I didn't have enough discipline at that point to kind of develop myself. Military gave me that piece of it.
See, and I think I started learning that when I got out. And that was where I was like, shoot, maybe I should have applied myself a little bit more in certain areas where I could have, like, because I tell everybody now that I talk to, get as many certifications as you can. Like, anything you get, like, literally getting certain jobs, especially, doing executive protection, doing a lot of stuff that I've done, it looked so good. I brought a stack of, like, I even brought computer-based training. I did everything. I had every little thing that I did that I had a certificate on. Even I even did this stupid course through the military where it was like I even have it somewhere, like an aggressive writing tactical writing, something like that, tactical writing in terms of like writing EPRs and stuff like that. I took a class on it, got a certificate for it. I had all these different things that I had, and it was funny. Rudy Martinez, uh, he's the one that was putting me in for everything. I used to think that he hated me, like, and not hated me. I knew that me and him got along really well because he hated a lot of people. He treated me really well in terms of that. But he used to sign me up for all these classes, and I not took it personally, but I was like thinking, man, I really don't want to take these classes. Like I've been living in Vegas. I'm like, and it's taking a lot of, like, we already get a lot of time taken away from us, especially when I was working the nuke base. Doing nuclear security when I first got there. I'm like, he's putting me in for all these things, and I'm like I gotta, instead of going out having fun, I have to do these but it helped me out so
It's
much.
teaching you to play the game, though.
Right. And I will say that's where, I mean, like, if I had to do it all over again, I think I would probably be more aggressive in terms of, like, maybe I would have probably went through the Army Ranger School program that they had for the Air Force. I would have probably done a little bit more on that end. And they were offering positions too, like through when the nuke base closed down, they were talking about positions opening up at Area 51. And I was like thinking, I was like, there's no way I'm doing that because, like, you to go through that but now thinking back on it, I'm like, if that opportunity were to come through again, I would, or even if it was even being talked about, I would have talked to the right people to even try to go through that aspect. Or there was other little things that were opening up to kind of go a certain direction, to go to take those, go through certain things to kind of get to get clearances and stuff. I probably would have done that too as well. I think like I said, that's probably what I would have maybe changed things up a little bit. But I like that I did learn it outside. I did start applying myself way more, and learning it outside the military was just good. I felt like it was just almost like going to another high school in the military. I think maybe when you get to a certain point past staff sergeant, maybe it changes a little bit because you're kind of dealing with more leadership side of things, which is kind of what you dealt with. But as a staff sergeant, you're kind of getting crapped on the entire time. You're getting crapped on a lot. You got a lot of responsibility for basically very little that you have control over. And there was a lot of people that like, that had a problem with doing the right thing or standing up for what was right. And I couldn't be in the military anymore because like not enough people did that. And they just kind of followed along with the narrative instead of trying to like, hey, this is a stupid idea. Maybe we should do it this way, a smarter way of doing it, like, and nobody did that enough. Like, Stratton did a lot of that, and he was good about stuff like that. So I remember when we got static posts and that was with Sergeant Bouchot, he did static posts throughout the whole base, and it was like he wrote the IG in it because it was illegal to do, where one person's going around, relieving like 9 patrols or 8 patrols or whatever. I don't remember how many it was at the time. That kind of thing was necessary. Not enough people did that kind of thing when we were doing dumb things like that, just a static patrol on base, which made no sense. So like, it's just like little things like that. Like I said, I didn't learn that stuff until after I got out. And, I think my job now is kind of where I really heavily applied what I wanted to do outside. And I did really well for it. That's why I'm as successful as I am with my job now, just doing the things I do currently. So I get what you're saying though, man. And it's I don't know if it correlates enough with me, but maybe if I took it more seriously, I'd probably feel the way you do about it.
Everybody's different, in the path that's taken is opportunities are presented to you to learn different things in different situations. Like I spent half my career as a cop, and there were some great moments and there were some terrible moments.
Mostly
Same with
terrible.
recruiting. Mostly terrible.
No,
but
yeah.
same with recruiting. Like fantastic moments, really helping a lot of people. You get to see, the work that you're doing and all that. And that discipline that you've kind of gained in your military career and just in real life kind of factors into the recruiting piece of it because you're running a business essentially. But I don't know. There's pros and cons with every position that I've had. There's always the fact that you have to play the game, and I never liked playing it, but I knew the rules, and I knew that if I wanted to progress, I had to play it, and I had to play it well.
Yeah.
So it worked out. Made it to 20. Just officially retired yesterday.
Nice.
1 May 2026. So officially out of the Air Force. No, I appreciate it. And so that's done. But my next question I wanted to ask was leadership comparisons. We talked a little bit about this. Now you're talking about coaches, and you've been around a lot of them. Now commanders as well. You've been around a few of those. Now, if you were to compare coaches and commanders, how would you go about doing that? It's unique.
It depends on what area we're talking about here. Now, if we're going the burning of the beret, are we doing the burning of beret era? Are we doing the it depends on what era. I mean, there were similarities in the sense that like, in football, I'd get punished if, everybody get punished for doing something wrong. So that was, if one person screws up, everybody's getting punished for it. So in that sense, there's a lot of that. If one of our teammates or one of our fellow security forces members got caught doing a DUI, we got called at 3 a.m, and burning of berets happen, things like that happens where, and to their credit, certain, I'm friends with one of the majors on Facebook, so not trying to talk trash or anything like that, but I will say that it did suck being a part of Creech and getting punished for all the things that Nellis did. That was really not fun at all. And I think that there should have been some separation there because, we have to do guard mount at Nellis for those things, whatever, and for when we're getting punished for it. So we're driving 40 minutes to go to Creech, and then we have to drive, to go down to Nellis to go do this when we're never even at that base. So like, I don't know. It was just, that was hard. And I think that there's similarities, but again, I guess with anything, you get bad leadership. I had really good coaches, man. I feel like a lot of them were very I learned something from all my coaches in sports. In terms of leadership, I mostly learned what not to do. And that was I think that that's not a good thing though. It's good to understand what not to do, but I really feel like I didn't have a whole lot of good examples in terms like there's a couple people I could think of, like obviously like Rudy Martinez. But like I've seen the bad side of Rudy Martinez. If he does not like you, he treats you terrible. But I will say, like, if you're a screw up, that's kind of on you. But I've seen how he treats certain people, and I'm like, I don't, and it's hard to say what was good or what was not. I just took whatever I could. There's like people like Sergeant Gaines. Sergeant Gaines was one of those people that he was at main base, and one of the times that one time that we got back from working for 12 hours, they did a what is it called, a stupid the thing where they call the mass amount of security force, and we all have to arm up and go out and play the whole role of
like an exercise, or
yeah, like a base wide exercise type deal where they call everybody in to be a part of it, and we have to
like a recall.
Yeah, recall, basically a recall. And the sergeant I had, I'm not gonna say any names because again, he's friends with me. I don't want to be mean, but he didn't say, like, we were already told by certain people that, hey, like, if you guys got done working, you don't have to mount up. Well, he decided to go to Sergeant Jones and say, hey, do you want us to mount up? Like, first of all, why would you ask? Like an idiot. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's going to know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, oh, well, but why would you ask, first of all, if it already was established that we don't have to do it after you've already worked a 12-hour shift? Why are you going to go ask after us working a 12-hour shift, basically being gone for 14 hours? Because the hour drive up there and the hour drive back, because we're driving all the way down, because we're doing the vans at the time where we were picking up the vans. We weren't picking them up at the park and ride. We were picking them up at Nellis. So we pick up the vans at Nellis, arm up at Nellis. And so when we're coming back from Nellis to go put the stuff back, to put the guns back, they're like, oh, we're doing a bit. Like, he didn't sit there and stand up and say, hey, we just got done working a 12-hour shift. Like, he just said, do you want us to do this? He's like, well, yeah. Like, if anybody asks you that question, of course, their first, they just want to get those posts out as fast as they can because they're all getting technically audited. They want to get those posts out. So they don't care if you worked for 12 hours or not. You just got to make sure you're the one that sits there and says, hey. So I sat there and said it as like a senior airman. And that was like, but I said a lot more choice words when I did it. And he was trying to call me back so he could reprimand me, but I just walked off and just like took off. But Sergeant Gaines actually called up Sergeant Gonzalez, and Sergeant Gonzalez is like, hey, no, you need to go home. We'll replace you right now. Like, and I was at post and I just left. I didn't say anything to the people. I was like so mad because everybody was just going along with it. No one was saying anything. It's like, you guys can go play fun, have fun with that. I'm leaving, I'm not even saying anything to you guys. You guys want to not say anything and not stick up for the right thing, but I don't know, man. I feel like there was a lot of that in leadership, and that's why I don't think I learned a whole lot from everybody in terms of what I think they did right. More along, like I said, when we have a captain also who throws his beret in a fire pit, that was quite interesting. It stands out, and again, weird things to do as a leader that like I just would never do. Is like, it's just a weird thing to do. It's like I never really saw, like I said, real good leadership outside of like those few people, like I said, Martinez, Gonzalez, Gaines, and like, just Sarayama was a good one too as well. And like I said, but I didn't go through any turmoil with him, so I couldn't say if he would make the right decision or not. I love Yama to death, but we never really had to do anything like BS wise that was like as dumb as that. I don't know what choices he would have made. I'm assuming he would have made the right choice when it comes to stuff like that. But outside of that, I can't think of very many other people that really stand out. Everybody's very, our career field, there was a lot of backstabbing, a lot of like weird things that happen like that. So it's like there was a saying.
It's a tough comparison to make with the sports and the military side. But at the end of the day, I think that all the coaches that I've had, there's been good and then there's been bad. But the majority of the good ones have been more mentors to me in sports and in life in general. Just kind of basic stuff. Overall, great people. They're volunteering their time, and they've been more mentors to me than my like commanders. I've had good leaders and supervisors and commanders, and bad leaders, commanders, supervisors in the military side of things. But I think having a good base of each really helped me develop as a leader. obviously getting that exposure to what mentorship looks like in sports sense before even joining the military gave me that how do I teach people, how do I lead people mentality, because I saw it on that side of things. And then coming into the military, having a good mix of good and bad leaders, you get to see, hey, I don't want to be like that type of leader, or I want to do exactly like this type of leader did. So I learned a little bit from everybody in both sports and in the military, where it kind of helped me refine the type of person and type of leader that I wanted to be.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. Like I said, I maybe that, like I said, maybe that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, like I said, I learned what not to do and what to do. Sariyama was really good at camaraderie. You had people like, Martinez was good about like, making sure that I had a very good resume, which is something I never was even thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sergeant Gonzalez really was about like being like doing everything by the book, which is like, that's something that like, a lot of people in our career field kind of skirted around. And that was one thing I learned, that like you could never lose if you're doing everything by the book. That's one thing that he taught
Yep.
me. So like I will say, like, in that sense, learning all that from them, I would say Yama was the best at camaraderie things. Like that was Yama. Like dude, I went like base jumping with him. I like off the stratosphere, dude. We did all kinds of cool stuff. Like doing like little. Dude, he was really good about that. Played basketball together, played sports together, played fantasy together. Like he did camaraderie better than probably anybody. Nito Alvarez too as well was another one. And he was more just like I felt like he was more of a friend than a leader though. But I don't really remember thinking anything he did that was like, I remember like him like, but he was always really nice. I always liked how he handled things very well, like level headed. So I mean, but I will say the officer side of things, man, I can't really think of too many that were like, that were like, man, I thought they did a great job. Like, no, I will say, not to be too controversial on the, I felt like I got more out of the sergeants and things like that, learn more from them, learn more what not to do from all the officers that were.
Well, you have more interaction time with those supervisors as
That's
well.
true
Like
too.
commanders, you might see, when you're doing something wrong, you're going to see your commander. Or, if you're doing something very publicly, you're going to usually see your commander. But with supervisors, good or bad, you're typically going to see them daily. So your interaction
That's
level
probably true.
and
Yeah,
exposure to them is going to be a lot higher. So you'll start noticing a lot more.
I
I
give
mean,
you that.
if it's a good commander, I mean, they try, they're busy, so they're trying to be out there and all that. But like I said, I always enjoyed the coaches. They're great mentors, and I kind of choose to forget about the bad coaches out there because there's more of the good ones, and they left a bigger impression on me. And then it really carried over to the military side and how I carried myself within the military.
Yeah, there was Major Springer always kind of surprised me a little bit too with his memorization. I never met the guy before, but the first time I went out to him, he's like, "Oh, Daniel Barnard, nice to meet you." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Bro, that is great." He memorized everybody's like face and name. I guess he had photographic memory, so like when he go to everybody's posts, he knew exactly who you were. And that was cool. I could never do that. I forget names literally after I meet you. If I meet you for the first time, I'm probably gonna forget your name within 10 minutes, and
I don't even know where I am right now.
yeah, exactly. So no, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess it's different for everybody. It really is different. Like I said, you learn lots of different things from other people, and um, you know, I know, like I said, where I'm at now, I like where I'm at now. Like I said, because I'm technically like with my job, I'm like this most senior ranking person. So with the K in the K9 world, so like it's really easy to kind of like do a really good job for me. I personally like I feel like I'm probably where I need to be in terms of that, making good impressions on clients and hopefully other people as well, just with coworkers and stuff. But yeah, no, it's a fun job. I like it a lot. So
Yeah, no, I agree. That's fantastic. Yeah, those were the two main military type, sports related type questions
yeah, I
that I
remember
wanted to
that.
bring.
Yeah, and I remember you writing it down, so I wanted to make sure at least we covered that. But outside of that, man, anything you want to add? Anything you want to talk about? Anything else that you want to talk about that you want to add to this whole thing?
So I do want to continue to keep an update. Like I'm playing street hockey right now, and during the winter, I'll be playing ice hockey and men's league and stuff like that. So I do want to start bringing and mentioning, what's going on in that. Just to kind of bring people into the fold. What I'm going through. I'm 43 years old, so it's very painful either way. But I'm doing it for the podcast. No, no, it's fun in general. I started street hockey mainly to start getting out there. My brother and I started playing street hockey when we were 4, and then obviously I went into the military for the last 20 years, so we haven't had a chance to do that. So it's been a great experience to kind of get on the decking again, running around after a hip surgery and try to compete with some of the older gentlemen out there. It's been fun, but we haven't won a game yet, so that's frustrating. But
who's the best player on your team?
Oh, that's clearly me. No, no. I don't know. My brother, he has a goal and 3 assists right now, and I have a goal and 1 assist in the 3 games.
Oh, your brother's better than you. That's already we just figured
as
out.
As of right now, give it time. Give it time. I'm really relying on his old body to kind of break down before mine. Or he'll have work events, so he can't attend the game, so I'll have more games played, hence more opportunities to have more points.
Well, if your other team sucks, though, it's gonna be really hard to kind of get those points scored, though. I'm assuming have you guys lost every game?
We have lost every game. It is rough. Last game we only lost 3-2, so it was closer. It's still rough though as a whole. It's unfortunate that we are losing every game, but I think as the season goes on, we're gonna gel as a team and we'll get better. But I wanted to keep everyone updated with how.
So when I watched you, I was surprised about how physical it was, even for street hockey. I was really surprised. So it was very interesting to see that, just the dynamic of the street. I was like, oh my god, they're actually running into the chain link fences and stuff. Oh my, that's so crazy.
And it's not even that bad. So I played NBHL, National Ball Hockey League, a few years ago, and it was still tough, but it was so much more physical. It's like these guys are full checking, these guys, full contact, and there's no age discrepancy. You have 18-year-olds and 40-year-olds.
I expect you to pull someone's uniform over their head at some point and start like punching them.
I think you're watching Mighty Ducks too much. But I want to keep everyone kind of. It's just a fun, interesting thing that I'm doing right now, and my brother and I are competing, of course, like we always do in terms of stats and points. But yeah, we're 0-3 nonetheless. I have 1 more game played than he does, but he has 2 more points than me right now.
Ooh, that's bad stats up him.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. But it's fun either way, and the season's long, so we'll see how it goes and how it trends. But I'll keep everybody kind of updated with that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that right now. Honestly, I can't even imagine just running into people like that anymore. I mean, maybe I liked playing with my neighbor. We used to play street hockey with like people like around the neighborhood and stuff like that. It was always really fun, but never like what you're doing. Yours is like a whole other level, just of doing that. But it's fun though. I miss doing that kind of stuff. I'm just so much older now. I just don't see myself doing that anymore.
It's painful. You definitely pay the price for at least 2 to 3 days. So you have to be prepared for that.
Ooh.
And as I get older, it seems that that pain lasts a little bit longer. So
that's so funny.
It's fine. I do it for the competitiveness. I can't not have competitive ability to go out there and be an athlete. So I'll go as long as I can.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing how your season continues. You got to let me know who your worst player is. We'll talk about your worst player like next week or something like that. We'll go over like maybe a little bit on that. Maybe see how each player is doing. Give us an update on the players and stuff that are doing terrible or good. Next week, I kind of want to get into a new segment, kind of going over maybe some. We kind of talked about it a little bit, kind of like like the "Am I the asshole" thing, but maybe more or maybe even just talking about subjects of like fantasy league drama, things like that, and maybe kind of putting our 2 cents into it a little bit. So commenting more on that kind of stuff, and if anybody else wants to hear anything else specifically, maybe we could cover as well. Just let us know in the comments or reach out to us, preferably in the comments, just because get more interactions.
I would say like if you have like a military sports comparison question, we're perfect to answer that. We've done both, and a lot of people haven't done the military.
Yeah, or fantasy league question or sports even related.
Anything like that. Yeah.
So
ask your questions if you've got them. We'll add it in here and we'll answer those.
Or any dog handling questions.
Very specific.
Nothing to do with sports. No, but yeah, we could definitely do that. I don't know how many times we're gonna post. We're kind of up in the air about how many times we're gonna post right now. But as of now, I think we're just gonna do weekly for now. But you never know, we might throw in another one. Depending on if anything interesting happens, we might just brush up on it. Maybe even do like a quick 30 to hour something quick, nothing too long, and go over something that happens, especially now that we're rearing towards the end of the
NBA and NHL
NBA and
seasons,
NHL seasons, and we might be talking about that and maybe do like a quick update on our thoughts, because I plan on watching both until the end and kind of maybe giving our thoughts on like what's going on in that realm. So we might do like another segment depending on when the games end, just to kind of like go brush up on that. But any other subjects you guys want us to talk about, especially towards the end of the podcast, bring it up. We'll talk about whatever we want. If you want to talk about anything up them at the end of the podcast too as well, just any subject, we'll go over it, because we're already done with sports, so it's like we can talk about anything else at this point. Outside of that, I think we're good to go, unless you have anything else that you want to add. It was a good episode.
Good.
We did.
It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm having fun, man. So like, but I think this is gonna be a nice little thing that we could do each week. So like I said, just keep me updated, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah, later.
All right, later.